What's going on, everyone? It is me, Nate. Oh, you know what? Did it again. Haha, I'll be back. What's going on, everyone? It is me, Nate. I'm here. We are ready to do some streaming. Today is going to be a very exciting stream. We are back at it again with the resume reviews. Very excited. Gonna have some good young enterprising devs here. Just giving Moosieus a couple of seconds because he, for some reason, decided to go run an errand right before the stream. So we'll give him a second to figure that out. Otherwise, let's just get excited. It's a Friday, it's a good time. Things of that nature, words, comments, ideas. Where is Moosieus? Moosieus, where are you? Please, Moosieus. This really works a lot better when I have a co-host. Come on, Moosieus. Anyway, hello everyone. Let's get into that pape changer background. I'm changing the wallpaper. What's the best wallpaper for resume review? That's what I want to know. I think there's Moosieus. Hey, Moosieus, you're 2 minutes and 14 seconds late.
Give me 1 second.
All right. I think Arial. I think this is good for. This is a good wallpaper directory for this. Now let's find something that can really show off how the careers are going to go of these young enterprising devs. I think this is good. They'll be able to own their own island. This isn't the Epstein Island, which is good. You want to make sure the island is the right sort of island. And this island, I think, really shows it off. It's a secluded place. It would cost $1 gazillion. There's a boat. I think all of these devs who get their resume reviewed, after they get the resumes reviewed, they'll be able to buy their own island and boat. I think this is a good place. Moose, where you at? Moose? Came in and said hello, and then he died. All right, in the chat we got hash rate saying oi hash rate. We got triple smile saying hello. I feel like we're not going to see. We haven't seen the last of you, triple smile. I've got a strong intuition we'll be hearing from you later.
Testing.
There you are.
Testicles.
What's going on, brother?
Beautiful.
Hold on. Keep talking. Let me make sure I got the levels right.
Keep talking and no one explodes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What you're going to want to do is cut the mauve wire, not the lavender wire, and make
Fantastic.
sure that you don't cross the.
I think we nailed it. We are good to go.
All right. I just got to set up my camera real quick.
Indeed.
I had it pointing down at my desk.
You can't have it pointing down at your desk. You gotta have it pointed at your mouth. That's where the camera goes.
Oh yeah.
All right, fantastic, Moose. Fantastic.
There we go.
All right. So the first contestant on our show is, of course, you know him.
Wait.
What?
Contestant?
Yeah, contestant.
Are there prizes?
The prize is you get hired at the end of this if you listen to us and do what we say.
At least that's the hope.
That's what it's about. Resume review, mostly every Friday with Moosieus. There's going to be a sign-up sheet coming soon. I'll be developing that on stream. But if you want your resume reviewed, come to my Discord on Fridays and put your resume in the resume review channel. We will review it and help you out. Try to get this thing going. Whoa! I was in the middle of talking there. Excuse me. Who just followed me? Brian1313. Thanks. I don't know where I was going with that. Thanks for the follow. Anyway, resume review, and it is time to get into it. So momentarily, once I find my Discord window, I will be dragging in our first contestant, Skangman. Skangman, what's going on?
Hello.
All right, let's do a real quick audio check. Can you speak a little bit more, Skangman?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
Absolutely.
hello.
Absolutely.
Nice.
All right, good stuff. Moose, are you on camera yet?
Just about. And
There
here
we
we are.
are. Hello, Moose.
You will have to suffer my dirty sunroom that is
Yeah.
full of stuff
Yeah, I was about to say that
right
is dirty
here.
sunroom. So,
Hey, watch it.
anyway, Skangman, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm curious about your name, Skangman. What's that about?
Well, a skeng is sort of like slang for
Mm.
like a knife or like a weapon.
Oh,
So
so you're like
yeah,
one of
just
those roadman.
no, I'm not, thankfully. But
Hmm.
I just thought it was funny like a few years ago.
Fair enough. Oh, and you just stuck since then.
Yeah,
Totally understand how that works. All right. Well, let's just get right into it, Skangman. So I assume right here where it says name, your name would go there.
yep,
Phone number, likewise with the phone number.
yep.
And then your email is probably some combination of letters in your name and then an at gmail.com.
Ooh, yeah,
Fantastic. University of City, Master of Engineering
yep.
in Computer Science, Computer Systems Engineering. Expected graduation May 2026. So you're in the first year of your master's program?
So second year of undergrad, but in the UK it's called like an integrated master's. So it's
I
like a four
understand.
year course.
Yeah, my sister did one of those. She got a master's in 5 years. Okay. So you're looking for mostly what? Internships?
Yeah.
Okay, so for internships, having your education at the top is usually helpful. Ordinarily, we'd recommend putting it near the bottom once you graduate. Who cares? You know, sort of the thing. But for internships, showing that you're a computer science student is generally useful. Any thoughts on that, Moose?
Yeah. Um, well, actually, no. Yeah, that makes sense. Education at the top. That's what you want for internships. And the good thing coming out of college is if you've had like an internship or two, it really shows that like, okay, you can actually do work in a work environment. And that adds like good social proof, which is a word that I will be saying a lot this evening.
Certainly. So I see no work experience, just projects. That's perfectly acceptable. Let's see. Projects. So you have a distributed and parallelized game of life. Distributed and parallelized Conway's game of life in Go. Have the amount of time needed to calculate the game state for 512 by 512 boards with 100 iterations via parallelizing the worker threads. Because the 2.1x speed up in game by distributing it across multiple EC2 instances using remote procedure calls to communicate between the instances. Something about saying spelling it out and then putting in the acronym kind of annoys me. If you put the acronym and then put the remote procedure calls in the parentheses, then it's like using RPC. By the way, RPC means remote procedure calls. Otherwise, you can just
Yeah,
say remote procedure calls and not have the
I would say I could go either way with the format. In terms of projects, so this is an interesting one. If you are looking for internships, then yeah, like projects are what you want to show off. Um, Conway's Game of Life, okay, that's like a very simple thing, but you've distributed and parallelized it, which I find interesting. That at least shows like, okay, you understand what parallelism is, and you are able to, you also understand what RPC is. So right away, that's the good stuff. I like this project, right? If I'm trying to hire an intern, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Benchmark the code by profiling the CPU to find where the bottlenecks were. That makes sense. Though you don't profile the CPU, you profile the program.
Oh,
Food for thought.
okay.
I get the point though.
Yeah. Do you have?
Profiling CPU performance.
Yeah, so I don't need to see it right now, but do you have a running example of this, or was this just a project that you had to shut down because you were using too many EC2 instances and you didn't want to keep paying?
It's as in, yeah, if I fire up the instances, then I can get it running, but that like
Mhm.
takes a while because I have to run like 5 of them, and then yeah.
If I was you, I would take out the cross computer thing and run it on one small instance and have a live demo that people could look at that you can click and maybe have a nice UI if you're capable of doing that, if you're doing UI stuff. Um, it's really nice when you have projects to be able to say, "Hey, I did this project, and not only did I do this project, you can use this project right this moment." I think that's kind of an important
Okay,
thing.
I
okay
would
then.
say keep the RPC stuff, right? Show that you can distribute it. That's fine. But do you have this code on GitHub?
That's important as well.
Let me check.
So that would be like the biggest thing is, you know, if I'm a recruiter or a software engineer and I'm hiring interns and someone's like, "Oh, hey, I made a distributed and parallelized game of life." I'm like, "Okay, show me the code."
Yeah, how
Right?
distributed, how parallelized, how do you orchestrate this whole thing? The code is very important.
Okay, because it was a paired project, so it's on the other person's GitHub.
Do
Well,
you
if
have commits to it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's fine. As long as you show up as a contributor, then that's more than plenty. Yeah.
fantastic. So
Board game.
we got a niche board game. Created a digital version of the niche board game, implementing the game mechanics and an AI in Java. Leverage the visitor pattern so that different types of player moves can be handled in distinct ways via dynamic dispatch. Assigned a heuristic and then use the min-max algorithm to score each state of the board. Use the observer pattern so that changes to the GUI were pushed to the game state. Now this is something you definitely want to have visible and on a web page so that somebody can go in, play a game, hopefully lose to your amazing AI, and then move on.
Hmm. So it's censored here. Are you at liberty to say? Are you willing to say what board game it is, or is it like, no, this is a top secret board game. This is a CIA secret clearance board game.
No, no, yeah, it's fine. It's just because like it's a when you like search up, lots of other people's projects come up for it, so it's somewhat like. But yeah, it's called Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard.
Okay. And let's see, what does the Scotland Yard board game look
We're gonna
like?
get into it. Scotland Yard board game, 1991. Interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, this looks really really annoying.
yeah. We actually like played it in like class, like the actual board game before like doing this.
Interesting. So how does this work? You're just trying to get from one place to another as fast as possible.
So you have like one person who's called Mr. X, and they basically have to like run around London, running from the detectives, and then the detectives, like every like few rounds, they get to see where Mr. X is, but they don't know where he is. They can only see what type of transport he's used, and they have to basically try and hunt down Mr. X.
Oh, interesting. This game sounds awful. I hate to say it, but the fact you wrote an AI for it
Well,
seems neat.
I
The
was going to say
AI
that, yeah.
was kind of bad, I can't lie, but
That's funny. All right, so let's see. Create a digital version, implementing game mechanics and AI in Java.
I'll
Uh,
say, well, for the board game, so it sounds sufficiently like complex, right? It's not like a super simple AI like, oh, um, you know, tic tac toe, right? So in terms of the bullet points, create a digital version of the board game, implement in the game mechanics in an AI in Java, visitor pattern. I guess there's not really much I would add. That's already like in pretty good detail as well. So far, the two projects you've listed, like usually the issue we have is like people use like very terse bullet points, but I think everything you've listed so far is like good details, mentioning the right technologies and technological concepts and stuff. So far so good, and the format of the resume too is quite nice.
Yeah, certainly. It was very
So
simple, but it's pleasant,
yeah, readable and straightforward.
All right, so we got Stockwatch. Worked as part of a group in a 24-hour hackathon to make website comparing stock levels with different supermarkets. Use Streamlift front-end framework for Python to create a website UI. Use SQL to query database for the mock-up levels of supermarkets. Graph the stock data using pandas. Again, this seems to be a pretty good, pretty tight explanation of what happened here. I don't know. There's a whole lot more I'd add. Moosieus?
What is Streamlift? I guess I've never heard of that in terms of front end frameworks. Is that just like a component framework, or?
I honestly don't know. This was we just picked it because we had no web dev experience, and this was like, okay, Python is easy, and this is a web framework, so let's use it.
No front end experience required.
That was us.
That's funny.
The only feedback I have here is this is Streamlit, so minor spelling mistake.
Streamlift.
Oh, damn.
Streamlit.
No. You have the right one.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one. Oh, damn, I misspelled it. Okay.
It's so yeah, it's like good for data visualization stuff. Okay, so there's not really more to dig in there. It all seems pretty straightforward.
And of course, they took the AI pill.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Yet another perfectly good product that decided to go down the AI route. Pretty classic stuff. Okay.
Okay, so 24-hour hackathon. Worked as part of a group. That's good. 24-hour hackathon explains the context. You made a website. And I assume because it's for a hackathon, it's not necessarily accessible. Graph stock data using pandas. Yeah, so again, if you're looking for an internship so far, I think like you're really on top of stuff as far as your projects go, as far as describing them goes. This all makes good sense. And if I'm trying to hire an intern, it's like, okay, you've definitely done a lot of work with Python, a little bit of JavaScript or Java, almost said JavaScript. You've done some GUI programming, used a bit of SQL, a lot of pandas, AI stuff. So already I'm seeing like a lot of good things, and Go and RPC as well. So yeah, all positive things.
So Sketch Computer Graphics wrote a C program to draw images based on a proprietary sketch.sk file. Used bit shifting to extract the opcode from the inputted command so the image frame could be drawn. Manually managed heap allocated memory and used pointers without memory leaks. Also, Triple Smile is pointing out, we were actually the ones that got the Streamlit thing.
Oh.
You got it totally right. That was just on us.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oops.
Yeah. I misread that.
I'll be flogging myself later on just to make sure I feel sufficiently bad for doing so. However, it's against Twitch terms of service. I can't be flogging myself on stream. Ridiculous.
So, was this a thing that you did for class? Was this a class assignment, or was this you did this independent?
That was a coursework, yeah, for school.
Are any of these projects not coursework?
The hackathon one is hackathon, and the others are coursework ones.
So I would put that one up top to indicate that to a potential employer, and if you're getting to an interview, the coursework ones are a little bit weaker as they come as resume things go. You want to put your independent stuff up top just to say, hey, I'm a go-getter. I'm willing to do whatever. I do this on my free time, and I came up with this idea, or I decided to join a hackathon, whatever. The coursework stuff, it's like, Well, everyone kind of does coursework, you know.
Okay, then. Even if it's out of like chronological order, because that's how I have them currently.
Oh yeah, take them out of for your projects. They don't need to be in chronological order. I wouldn't even put the year in when I put the did the projects. I would
Okay.
I would just the chronological order thing is only really important for your once you have a career going and you're listing previous occupations or previous jobs.
Okay.
I'll say that this is like good coursework in my opinion.
Yeah, this is solid. University of City is really hitting it out of the park with their coursework.
Yeah. And do you have any more like I mean, school takes up a lot of your time, but do you have like any personal projects that you could show as well, or a GitHub profile that you could link to that's even got some other stuff, or not really?
Honestly, no. I try and like do other stuff like in my free time. Honestly.
Oh, you mean like niche hobby
Mhm.
and your role and niche role?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's totally acceptable. Not everyone's gonna have a crazy, super crazy GitHub project where they're working on stuff all the time. I would recommend just doing something to show your skills. Maybe have a portfolio website or something, but it's certainly not completely necessary once you, especially since you have decent projects, and especially when you're still in school. I mean, there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
So we got languages: Java, Go, Python, C. Platforms: Linux, AWS. Tools: Git, IntelliJ. So Git is good. IntelliJ, it's an editor, and
You can leave it.
I
Not gonna hurt.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt. It's not a problem. I just don't mention editors in my resume. That's because the entire resume would just be VIM and then nothing else. That's VIM. It's in the game.
So down to activities, Computer Science Society, Vice President. So you secured sponsorship from Company and Company.
That's pretty good. I heard about Company. I know Company's not doing so well, but Company is amazing.
So let's see. Can you tell us a bit about that? So like,
all right,
how much? What sponsorship did you secure? How much money? What type of grant? Yeah.
So for one of them, it was £2,000, and then the other one was £2,500.
All right, not bad. Organizing events by liaising with university and industry connections. So I'll go and ask, like, what industry connections, if you could say, and what kind of events were you organizing?
So help organize. So currently, we're organizing like a capture the flag competition, and then help to organize our game development competition, and then also other events we do, like just like social events, and we do stuff like barbecues and other stuff. But like, yeah, the industry ones are mainly like the hackathons and competitions.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hold on a second. TV Josh is coming with a hot take. He says, if you're from the UK, you should list that you're related to Alan Turing. Have you considered that? This could be big.
I don't think you had any kids.
That doesn't mean you can't be related. Cousins. Alan Turing surely had cousins.
So, let's see. Niche hobby, niche role. Niche role? What role?
Yeah, that's like very, as in it shows like leadership and like stuff, but it's like very identifying.
Totally understandable.
Okay, so not a job role, right?
Oh no.
Okay.
So do you have anything else, Moosieus?
I don't think so. So, in terms of resumes and stuff and getting the details out, this is already pretty detail rich, albeit a lot of it is coursework. I'll say it's pretty good coursework as far as colleges go.
Yeah.
If these are the types of topics that you're covering and stuff. And what internships are you interested in? So I don't know how UK schooling works, but is it like summer internships or working part-time?
Yeah,
what do you-
summer internships. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what sort of work are you
Okay.
looking for? I'm assuming back end stuff.
Like any software dev, really.
Fair enough.
Any.
Well, with what you have here, it looks like back end is probably going to be your only option. Maybe a little data or something, but okay. I honestly don't have very much more to say. I mean, moving Stockwatch up would be a little bit of a help. So I suppose instead of ending by summarizing all the stuff I'd change, I'll just give a little bit of resume advice. So as you get more roles, then your projects and education will become less important. I know you have everything in here probably so you could fill out this entire page, which is fine. But
Yeah.
once you graduate, you want to take this education, move it all the way to the bottom. It's what you've done is much more important. It's what Moosieus always talks about, the social proof aspect of things that really helps out. And then, so then as you get more projects, don't be afraid to kill some of the projects on this list. 4 projects is plenty to have on a resume. And if you ever do end up fleshing out your GitHub and getting more stuff, then you can just send them there if you want to see everything you're up to. So don't be afraid to cut this down when you're in the earlier stage. When you're in the early to middle stages of your career, just cut this down. And no, this is good. Certainly, this is straightforward. This is pleasant. Not really anything I can come up with in terms of issues. What are you thinking, Moose?
Make the formatting look a bit nicer.
Yeah, you could clean up the
I mean,
formatting.
it's clean, but not necessarily. It's a little plain looking, but that's fine. That's a nitpick.
I'm always doing a
If I had
free showing
to-
for overleaf.com.
Here we go.
Yeah. Where you can have templates for making like resumes and stuff, and all these templates are nice. And then it's just a LaTeX document that you can modify and compile all on the website. You'll see that later on in the stream when we have Notarin on.
Nice. Okay.
All right. So your final verdict? Heaven 3. That's the highest level we've given out here on the resume review stream. That's the 3rd level of Heaven. You're basically at the top level of Heaven.
Damn.
Fantastic. Good work. And on that note, do you have any final words before I unceremoniously dump you back into... I'll dump you in the Hangout chat.
No, that's it for me. Just thank you very much for taking a look at my resume.
Well, thanks for coming on. So the question is, who do we go to next? Triple Smile, Fish, or Notarin?
I'm interested. I guess you could ask like who's ready.
Well, I mean,
I do wanna talk-
Triple Smile's been driving engagement by posting in the chat, so...
And I do want to talk to him, and I know it's late in Baltics,
Yeah.
far away. So yeah, we'll do him next.
All right, so I got his resume. There it is.
I wish I had more feedback for Skangman, but
I know.
was
He did such a
really,
good job.
Yeah, he was on top of stuff.
All right. So Triple Smile, welcome to the chat.
So
Hello.
Can you speak a little bit more? Just make sure we have audio
Yes,
levels right.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
So you're a
well?
little
Should
quiet. If you can get closer to the microphone,
Yes,
that would help.
I will be like this. Is it better?
That is better, but it's not great.
Is this all right?
All right, Moosieus, you get further away from the microphone.
1, 2, 3,
Me?
4, 5.
Yeah, because I'm trying to make you guys even.
I can
this?
increase my volume. That's not a problem.
That would be fantastic.
Is this all right now?
Yeah, that's pretty close. Moose, can you
Okay.
speak a little bit?
the devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind. He was way behind. He was looking to make a deal.
All
He
right.
came
this is
across
just gonna be
young
a
boy
little bit more
Sonon
stuff.
Phil and making it hot.
Doesn't matter. It'll be fine. Triple Smile, what's going on?
Trying to get better. Got ill a little bit, but other than that, I'm doing great.
Fantastic. So you're in
Also
Vilnius?
feeling,
Oh, sorry.
yeah. Also feeling a bit terrible by being here for the 3rd time, and maybe the 4th time will be the last. I hope.
All right. So triple
Don't,
smile.
and that's not something you should feel bad about either.
Maybe.
Yeah, you know. So luckytriplesmile@gmail.com, 696969420. Very good phone number. I really appreciate that phone number. I
Have you
wanted
tried
to get it
calling it?
myself, but then that was you. You already took it. And in Vilnius, Lithuania. How do you pronounce Vilnius? Vilnius?
Vilnius. If you
Vilnius.
pronounce it in English, you say it Vilnius probably,
Vilnius?
but in Lithuanian you say Vilnius.
Vilnius.
Vilnius, yeah.
All right.
Beautiful.
I like that. I can't waste the next 5 minutes of the stream trying to pronounce Vilnius over and over again, but just know that I want to.
Well, there you go. You just did it. Perfect.
So you got the experience at the top where you work for
Beautiful.
a company in Vilnius, Lithuania.
The first thing I think about when I see the company is Lethal Company. Your
Yeah,
work is invaluable to the company.
We here in Vilnius find your work to be valuable to the company.
Yeah, and you probably already seen this, picked up, but I got rid of the template which I had before, and this was the first time I was using LaTeX.
How'd you like it?
It's great, except when you need to change some little nuance, like I wanted to change font for the numbering of the pages only, and keep the font elsewhere. So it was a bit tricky, and
Oh yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
Let's
But
take a look at those
it's super
font
cool.
numbers.
I really liked it. The LaTeX itself.
Fantastic. All right, so let's just dig in. Java
go.
developer using server logs fixed a lot of small bugs usually related to small issues such as null pointers. Also fixed some issues with incorrect business logic. Implemented REST API methods for communication between two systems using Open API specification. Created general functionality for users to export nested documents data. Worked with Jahighway, the company's custom full stack framework, which is built on top of Java EE and integrates Vaadin front end framework. Successfully completed a project migration to new versions of Jahighway, Wildfly, and Vaadin. Lead developer for creating report templates using BERT, mentoring employees on how to work with BERT reporting tools and write performance squeal queries. Currently using Astro.js framework, Starlight documentation template to write a small documentation for common problems when making reports using BERT.
I really enjoy how you pronounce the BERT.
I don't know. I'm just pronouncing the words, man.
Yeah. I have a relationship with that BERT thing.
BERT. Fair enough. Moosieus, you want to start or shall I?
I guess I can start. So I'm actually reading some of these and trying to rewrite them right now. I would say using server logs fixed a lot of small bugs usually related to small issues such as null pointers. Also fixed some issues with incorrect business logic. The pros there could definitely be tightened up a lot. And in terms of fixing like lots of small bugs, that's a valuable thing, but that's like a last bullet point, not a first.
Yeah,
Certainly.
I agree.
Yeah, so it's a little bit clunkily worded, but yeah, so that definitely should be moved down. Implemented REST API methods, that works fine for communication between two systems. That's what every API is for. So I'd say I'd just nix that. Say you implemented REST API methods utilizing OpenAI API specification. I think that would clean that up a little bit.
I mean, what I wanted to say here it was probably that, usually you either have some internal systems where you could use like APIs, and you could also have like external APIs. So I wanted to say that these are more of an internal thing.
Okay. I would just not mention it, whether it's like
Okay.
internal or external. Just say using Open API specification. Makes it seem a little bit more impressive if you don't specify whether it's internal or external, because internal is much easier than external.
Yeah.
So I would either get rid of So J Highway is the company's custom full stack framework. Just say, let's see, it's built on top of Java EE and integrates Vaadin front end framework. So right here you have worked with, and then the entire rest of this is just a description of what J Highway is, right?
Yeah.
If I'm an employer, I don't care what J Highway is.
Yeah.
I mean, but like you need to understand some things of Java EE itself and some of the things of Vaadin. And if you just leave J Highway, then the employer doesn't understand anything about what I was dealing with.
So what
So
I would
maybe it's
do,
a problem of rephrasing.
yeah. So what I would do is I would not say J Highway. I would say something like worked with internal full stack framework built on top of Java EE and Vaadin.
Okay,
I think
that's
that
a
could
lot
really,
nicer.
yeah, that'll make it only this long instead of onto 2 lines.
Yeah. And then successfully completed a project migration to new versions of J Highway, Wildfly, and Vaadin. So new versions, right? Typically, versioning in software, I think the most popular style of versioning now is like Semver, which I'm just going to use as a point of reference. Semver, you have major, minor, and bug fix, right? So the three numbers.
Yeah.
If someone tells me, well, I did a major system upgrade from Bootstrap 4.1 to 4.3, I'm going to raise an eyebrow at that. I'm going to be like, okay, you went between like minor versions of the same framework. Like, get out of here. That's silly. Now, if someone said like, oh, I patched a 1,000-page front end from Bootstrap 3 to Bootstrap 5, I'm going to give them a hug because I feel bad for them.
This
So-
was like 2 months of work.
Okay, so I would
So-
say successfully successfully completed a project migration to new versions of J Highway, Wildfly, and Vaadin. So J Highway, that's proprietary. Are Wildfly and Vaadin proprietary as well?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Or maybe what? Okay, sorry. What does it mean proprietary?
Only one company uses it, or not?
No.
open source.
It's popular. Like Vaadin is not popular, but Wildfly as a web server is quite used widely.
Who is
They
this
can-
guy?
Don't ask. Don't ask.
No, I like this guy. Why is this guy wearing a business suit to an engineering meeting? Or is this an engineering meeting? No, this is a marketing meeting. Why isn't this guy dressed up? Did they let a developer into an executive meeting? That's a bad idea. You shouldn't do that. Figma balls.
So, if you go back to the, here we go. Successfully completed a project migration to.
To major versions, basically, of
So-
those frameworks.
yeah, so actually
Yeah.
new major versions of Wildfly and Vaadin, and I would just ignore the J Highway thing.
What and what type of internal project? What application was this?
It was so we have somewhat okay, so there was like a old project which was used for generating various reports using those RPT design files created with BERT. And basically you can add various forms, like filter browse forms. You have connections with database using ORM. It has custom functionality for making life easier, like what the J Highway framework provides. And basically changing the versions, it was quite difficult because half of the classes were different, not in terms of just the name changes, but the internal like workings itself. Like some of the things had to be done in a different like way, in a different kind of like patterns and stuff. So it was a pain. It was a big pain to switch everything. But the project basically, its main point was to take a functioning system which can generate reports and build on top of that for a project. So it's like a sub project for a bigger project, which
Okay.
it's
So how about
still-
this? Successfully migrated an internal data analytics pipeline to new major versions of Wildfly and Vaadin.
Yeah, it
Would
seems
that
about
be?
right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's where I would end the language or the updates, but I feel like that's at least kind of
It gets straight to
punching
the
it up a
point.
little bit. Yeah. And it mentions there that you patched major versions as well. And I've thrown that in the stream chat as well. So, yeah, you can almost strike out the whole J Highway thing. You don't have to explain what J Highway was, but you can mention that you worked with Java EE and
Bog.
full stack stuff. Yeah. In terms of ordering, I would say, let's see. I've got my little internal document here. I wish I could share it. I keep having to look down at my keyboard because I'm trying to switch to this Kinesis. I have to type on my laptop right now, though, because of the ports. So, successfully migrated an internal data analytics pipeline to new major versions of Wildfly and Vaadin, patched several business logic issues and runtime errors using server log.
I mean, the main thing I
referencing
wanted,
server logs to do so.
the main thing I wanted to say in that sentence where I mentioned the server logs is that I was fixing a bunch of bugs, and like I don't even know if I should mention server logs. Like it's probably common sense to check them.
It's about the only thing you can do.
Yeah. So you patched several business logic issues and runtime errors. Would you say that they were latent problems that no one was solving? How did you go about end up
Okay,
doing that?
so some of the problems with incorrect logic, all null pointers, came around when I was doing the tasks that were assigned to me, and I tried to use the framework as probably intended, and the framework itself had those bugs, so I just encountered them myself and then fixed them. So it was like the problem. Some of the problems were inside that J Highway thing, and and some of the problems was just like we have a project which is running in production, let's say, or it's in testing phase, and then someone reports a problem. You get the Jira tasks with like some logs or just some poor quality screenshots where you can't even read the letters and or numbers, and then you just try to figure out yourself like what's going wrong and how to reproduce that.
So
All right.
what
So
I would
I'll say. Sorry, Nate. Go ahead.
So I would say that you can get rid of at least one of these points and then put in a new one saying that you were able to contribute to the code base of the corporation's internal full stack framework, because I think that's pretty notable if you're finding bugs inside of a framework that's used across the company. So you're collaborating with people all the way across the organization without having to be told to do it, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So I think that
when you put it
Yeah.
like that, it sounds so impressive.
It is impressive. You did it.
it is impressive, and that's
So-
all the employer has to know.
There you go as well. I threw another one in our little stream chat. Identified and patched several runtime errors and logic issues in the company's custom full stack framework. Custom full stack, I guess you could say, well, mention that it's Java somewhere. Okay, so those two bullet points so far. Successfully completed a project migration, and instead of saying null pointers, I just said runtime errors.
Yeah, that's a lot
same
better
same
because
class
null
of bugs.
pointer is just a joke, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone, I mean, that's the only error you find is null pointers and off by one. Behind, aside from null pointers and off by one, there's no such thing as an error. No one's ever had an error that isn't a null pointer and off by one.
I mean, there are some, but
Okay, maybe
let's
they
say
exist, but come on.
So create a general functionality for users to export nested documents and data. Boo. That's way too general. And that sounds like a really high value thing that you did. So let's crack that open and try to revise that.
Okay, so the story time. So it was one of the first tasks that I was assigned to do, and so it's a little bit hard for me to remember all the details. But basically, there is a system which is used by like municipalities of Lithuanian. Basically, municipalities are using that. And
Municipalities
there
like Vilnius.
yeah, and other regions. And basically, they manage documents and archives of documents and all kind of that stuff. It's related to a bunch of documents and legal stuff. And so there had to be a functionality where you, when you go through the filter browse forms to some sort of a document, that you would be able to export that data. I don't remember, was it in PDF or XML or whatever format. And basically, those documents that you can view in the browser itself, they were kinda. Oh yeah, it was exporting the XMLs, I think. So basically, those documents were nested in like bigger kind of documents, and it was like a tree. And the database itself is like a tree, and you basically in the user interface see only a leaf, let's say, right? And you maybe want to export bigger portion of all of that tree, like a branch.
I'm curious, did at
And-
any point in time you have to reverse this tree?
Reverse history,
No, reverse the tree.
or in terms of like algorithm.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have to do that.
Darn, yet again, algorithms are useless. Anyway.
So I would
Basically,
say
I made a just to finish it. Basically, I made a button that goes through a bunch of stuff in the database and provides you a beautiful XML or whatever with
so.
the structure.
And was this was there optionality to this? Could I be like, oh well, user A wants this report and maybe only this data, and user B wants only this
No,
stuff?
it wasn't a report necessarily. Like it's not a report, kinda.
Okay.
It's just like you go to a document. Like I'm saying, it's a bit old stuff, and it's hard for me to remember the details. But I just remember that it was a bunch of nested data that I had to export as a structured XML or something like that.
Gotcha. And was this just static? Was it just like one button that someone pressed and it did this?
Yeah, it's one button, but you can go to different documents in different areas, in different branches, and it just exports you an XML.
Okay. So I'll say you created a system, or you rather developed a system for creating and exporting XML documents on the fly.
I wouldn't call it a system. Like, it was not difficult in terms of like complexity. I wouldn't call it a system. It's
Okay,
just
let's call it a
functionality.
feature then. Sure.
Feature.
You developed a
functionality.
feature for creating and exporting XML documents on the fly for what kind of data was this?
Hold on one second. TV Josh in the chat says, did it use XSLT?
Oh,
Okay, what is XSLT?
Let's assume it didn't. Sorry, TV Josh. Carry on.
good pointer though.
No, I didn't use that.
Okay.
Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, TV Josh
So
is
for
seething
creating and
over there.
exporting XML data on the fly for and what type of data was this? What did it pertain to? Was this just like public records, addresses?
It was
Prime-
it was information about like territories, about allowance of doing things in particular areas and stuff. Like it was
Zoning.
yeah, kind of like that. And like at that point I didn't really go into what that actually is. I just had a structure and I had to implement exporting functionality feature. Or maybe I should not even mention this. I don't know. Like it's just a
This
regular
sounds
Yeah.
complicated
task, I
and annoying to
suppose.
describe, and
I,
it's the
I was just going to
longest bullet
say
point.
you developed a
Maybe
feature for
just
creating and exporting zoning data on the fly
yeah, but maybe
as
also
XML.
I had other like tasks to create functionalities, but I don't mention them here. So maybe I should just delete this, because otherwise people might think, oh, he did this one thing and didn't do anything else.
Well, you've got a couple other things mentioned, but we've got more stuff to go through. So,
Certainly.
but the others are more physics related, which are
Yeah,
neat,
not
but
that important.
they're still important. But let's Nate, if you don't mind, go back up to the first bullet point
Fair
and
enough.
let's see. Lead developer for creating report templates using BERT. Ooh, so I like that.
BERT.
Mentoring employees on how to work with BERT reporting
BERT.
tools and write performance SQL queries. Currently using AstroJS framework Starlight documentation template to write a small documentation for common problems when making reports with BERT.
BERT.
Okay, so there's a lot of really cool stuff in this bullet point, but the prose, the like writing and phrasing is all over the place.
I need to learn English.
Yeah, and I know that spoken and written English is are separate skills as well. So okay. You led development. That's great. Right. Would you say that you led a team?
It's now a team basically. It's just by the time going on, I would say that now I'm kind of the head of a team. That's why I wrote lead developer, but I'm not even sure about this.
Okay.
Like, is this a developer at all? In terms of like making, yeah, it's development, making those like templates, sure.
Yeah, especially if you're leading a team, like that's really important. All the stuff here is great. This bullet point, although we have to work on the language a little bit, this should be the first one. Nate, do you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
I actually put it on the top and then I moved it to the bottom because my goal is to actually leave this kind of stuff. Like I don't want to work on BERT reporting, and so I want to have like Java related stuff on top. But yeah, of course, because I've spent most of my time doing this stuff, like working with SQL queries and making those reports and mentoring other people. So it contains the most time that I've spent in the company, but I want to run away from this and like start programming.
I can totally understand your hesitation for putting it higher, but one of the things that a lot of developers struggle with is leadership and mentorship and a lot of the soft skills that are important for writing software. So putting this near the top and saying and emphasizing the leadership and that you are in charge of the team working on this project is going to be very important in the long run for showing that you not only can write good software, but you also are a good person and can lead a team. That's a rare skill in software.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say absolutely. So, Nate, you want to help me? How do we spin this?
Yeah, so I'd say lead developer on a. Let's see, lead developer on a.
Or how about led a
Also-
team of
also,
developers?
I just want to mention one thing. Maybe this will be used in the making of the sentences. So basically, this kind of work is used not for one project, but for like 4 projects or 5 projects, because all the projects needs like ability to create various files from like parameters that users put in. So it's for like 4 or 5 projects. It's basically for all the projects that the company needs reports. So I kind of help people do the reports.
So
teach them how to do them.
these reports are used like across your organization. Then
Yeah.
that's also really good. Oh.
There you go. Lead developer on
Beautiful.
organization-wide data reporting system utilizing BERT, SQL, and Astro.js. Now that is what you want.
Utilizing BERT and optimal SQL queries.
BERT, let's see.
Optimized SQL?
Optimized SQL and Astro.js.
Optimized SQL.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So
it's not very optimized.
Don't worry about it, buddy.
If
Don't
you're
worry
writing,
about it. They won't be able to know that.
if you're not using an ORM, it's optimized. Probably.
That is a hot take. I can't say lie. If you don't think it's optimized, get rid of optimized. But you're saying you're writing performant SQL, and what is performant if not optimized?
It just means that it needs to work with a 10 million.
And how do you make it work with 10 million?
rows.
You optimize it.
You just write good code and it works, and you don't.
You're telling me you can
optimize
write
it.
optimized SQL without even trying?
Yeah.
So-
no, not really.
Wait, Nate, did you save that?
I sent it to him.
Okay, good. I would say you could also do another bullet point following up, explaining like how you're using Astro.js and writing documentation for that as well. That's really big. Writing docs. I do consider that a skill.
Mhm.
A quick rant on SQL. I have heard people call writing SQL queries low level.
No, what?
That's some bull.
SQL is like one of the highest level languages there is.
It is a declarative language, right?
So you're already
Like-
mega high level.
Yeah.
I'll hazard to say there's not that much to writing an optimal SQL query. Like, okay, pagination, even pagination to optimize that. It's like, okay, use an index and an off, like the offset, right?
Yeah, the actual
But
low level
it's not-
developers already took care of the optimization.
Yeah,
Just use the language properly.
stop using ORMs. Okay, yeah. So wait, where'd you drop that bullet point?
Oh, I sent it to him.
Shit.
Yeah, oops.
Here.
I didn't like the part that you kind of amalgamated the Astro in the sentence.
I did do that. I don't know what Astro.js is. My ignorance is showing.
It's just a framework which I'm using for documentation separately.
Oh, I see.
Moosieus, should I send you the message that Nate sent me?
No, you won't have to. I'm just going to throw this in the stream chat real quick. I'll say insert Nate's point here, insert bullet point about Astro.js docs, and then here. I will actually DM this to you real quick. And Nate, so you're in the loop. That's what I sent him, basically.
Fantastic.
So those 5 points in that order. The leading a team, using Astro.js for documentation, migrating the internal data pipeline to new major versions, and then you can talk about maybe patching several runtime error and logic issues in the company's full stack framework because they use that across the organization.
So we're
yeah.
running low on time here. Let's just speed through the rest of this. So we have FTMC, Department of Molecular Compound Physics. I am not going to read this, and some employers may. I would recommend cutting out a lot of this. It looks like there's a lot of explanation of exactly what was going on. I would try to keep everything to one page as a... I don't know exactly how it works in Lithuania, if there's a social norm to having more than one page, but being this early in your software career, there's not that much use in having more than a single page.
Yeah, you could be a little bit, or maybe even a lot more concise about the physics stuff,
Yeah.
but I would still include it, because if you were doing, like, university research and stuff, that still shows that, hey, I held a job and I worked on stuff that is far more complicated than anything you're doing in software.
Yeah, I feel like that.
Like-
Also, previously I had like small bullet points which were not concrete, and you've mentioned that I should say like a little bit more concrete what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I had to expand a little bit. It's not much.
Yeah,
but-
certainly.
The MATLAB stuff is good. In terms of expanding the concrete physics stuff, like expand on the technology, yes. The physics stuff can be more concise if you are applying to other software jobs. If you are somehow applying to a software job that is at the intersection of physics and software, then go into detail.
Yeah, certainly.
And also probably make a ton of money, I assume.
Yeah, sorry about the mixed messages there.
It's okay. It's okay.
So otherwise, more physics stuff. Villainous. University String Chamber Orchestra. Concertmaster. Every time you've mastered the
Master
concert.
of the concert.
The master of the concert. The top G. I'd try to decide on technical interpretation. I wouldn't have.
You
this
know
full
what?
Point. I'd keep this
If
full
I- if-
point.
If I get the job, which is nice for me, I can promise for you to like play a small concert.
Oh, that'd be great.
If you have like a stream not at 3 a.m. or just pay a little bit to my neighbors, I can promise you to play a little bit.
I might do a special stream on a Saturday or something. I think this could be good.
Dude,
Yeah.
you should totally, like, if you can find a fully remote job that is at the intersection of like software and physics, or software and music, like music software, you'd probably do really well.
Yeah. So otherwise, computer languages: Java, Go, Python, TypeScript; databases: Postgres, Oracle; tools: Docker, Git; Spring, Astra.js, Solid.js; Nginx, Wildfly; frameworks, web searches. This looks good. The skills is good. I like having hobbies in there. Some people don't care as much, but I think this is interesting. That you're like a well-rounded person. You do a bunch of stuff. Anything else?
Canoe polo. What's canoe polo?
I think you asked the same question before.
It's like polo on horses, but instead of a horse, you have a canoe. Easy.
Yeah, and you have like a net, and it's like football, but it's with canoes, and it's 5v5 game, and it's quite a contact kind of game.
Yeah, with the
It's-
added
it's-
benefit of if you fall out of the boat and get conked on the head, you drown.
And also, when you have a ball, others are allowed to push you over to the water, and you still want to try to hold the ball, and then you go around to the surface, and then they try to drown you again, and it's really nice.
This sounds like the game for me.
Oh, you should really try it if you haven't. It's
If I
great.
ever make it to Vilnius, I'll make sure to track you down and play a game.
Yeah, let's go play some.
1-on-1. I'm ready.
It's 5v5, but okay, let's go.
I don't care. 1-on-1. 5v5. 5v1. I'll take on all of you.
5v5.
I'll take on all you Lithuanians. You can't do anything to me.
Actually, a lot of German teams are.
Oh,
are great
no.
in this. German teams are great in this, but Lithuanians, I mean, 50-50.
As long as
you know.
none of those Scandinavian people try to play me. I mean, that's the real problem. That's what I'm scared of. Anyway.
All right.
So do you remember what we graded you last time you were on?
Oh no, I actually forgot.
Yeah, me
It
too.
was something in the middle.
It was
It was-
purgatory.
It was not total hell.
Purgatory? I think I'm gonna actually see. I can tell you took our advice, and with the skills section, I'm gonna upgrade you to upper purgatory. You are right on the precipice of getting into heaven here.
Okay. I'll take the advice that you gave me today and show up next week, and maybe we can bump a little bit higher, and then it will be good enough.
Fantastic. Do you have any other final words?
I just want to thank you. And
thank you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a good
and
sport.
wish a good day.
Fantastic. Have a nice day, and I will unceremoniously drop you back into the Hangout chat. So real quick, we will catch up on the chat. Irish Red Ales after the XSLT question called TV Josh a nerd. So that's fun. Irish Red Ales says he has a crazy case of Sugma right now. So we all know exactly what Sugma is, so no need to elaborate. TV Josh says lead. Might as well phrase it as director. That's a dangerous game. TV Josh says good equals optimized. Yes. He also says it's a 4GL. I don't know what 4GL means. You know what 4GL means?
You know, I prefer the term HNIC, but
certainly. And Triple Smile says, thanks. This will be on YouTube. Yes, it will be on YouTube. It'll be on youtube.com/npmaile, linked at my webpage, npmaile.com. It'll be in the stream section, whatnot, so on, so forth. Whoa, Chestnut Bird, thanks for the follow. All right, so the next person we'll have on is Fish. Now, I don't know much about Fish, but let's bring Fish on. Fish, what's going on?
Hi, hello.
Oh, man, you are far too quiet.
How's that?
That is infinitely better. That is perfect.
Okay, cool.
All right. So I hope you don't mind. I took the liberty of blocking out stuff that I assume you didn't want getting out there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we asked that most people block out their resume beforehand, but not a huge deal.
2, 3, 4, 5, 13, 13. Okay, hang on.
Moose, what are you up to over there, Moose?
First of all, I'm having to hunt and peck on because I'm between keyboards right now. And then I am, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, 13. Let's go to GitHub. Oh, nice. Okay. Got a couple of things here.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
Okay.
So anyway, I assume your name is under here, your phone number's under here, your email's under here, and I don't know, something else is under here. I left your GitHub unblocked out. Hope you don't mind that. I want to be able to click through it and take a look.
All good.
So I see you have a Bachelor of Science from California.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Relevant courses, okay. So you completed in December 2023. So
Yes.
this is going to be the last time you search for a job where your education should be featured so prominently. Once you have some experience under your belt, you want to move the education down and you'll want to get rid of the relevant courses entirely.
Okay.
Actually, I think work experience. Are you already working like in the industry? Do you have a job writing software?
Kind of. I'm like in the program for after school high school students that I got like in college. And they asked me to write software just because I'm studying CS.
Mhm.
And there was a program that they were already working on. The guy that was originally working on it left. I took over. And then yeah. So I do write software for work, but I wouldn't say I'm in the industry.
Yeah, so I'd say for your first job, leave it on there, and then when you get to the point where you're looking for your second job after you've been in your first job for a year or whatever, get rid of the relevant courses entirely, and then move your education down to the bottom. The work experience is really the most important thing.
Yeah.
So let's see, work experience, someplace, professional expert.
What kind of
Yeah.
job title is professional expert?
I hate it. It's a generic title that they pretty much give us because our main focus is mentoring students, and they let us do other things while we're there. And so it's an ambiguous title.
Okay, aside from the mentoring students, what do you do?
So the main purpose of our program is mentoring students. But from there, I pretty much created or I helped finish the program and then also moved it to Linux. But it pretty much helps the students recreate the competition that they're working on, or that they participate in, because they only get a certain number of attempts in the actual competition.
Mhm.
And then I've also started making tools for us that are for the network administrators.
Okay,
So those are like the three big things that I've done at work.
that makes sense. So I would not call it professional expert. You're kind of allowed to call it whatever you want within reason.
Okay.
I would say something like, oh, I don't know, because
Software
I don't
developer?
want to say software developer slash mentor, because then it sounds like you're mentoring other software developers, but really you're just software developing and then mentoring.
Yeah, that's why I kind of put it like
Yeah,
in two different like sections.
yeah, that makes
Like let the
sense.
mentoring be its own thing, and then let the software stuff be its own thing.
Yeah, I think what you've done is probably the best way to do this. Now that I'm thinking of it.
Well,
Should I get rid of the
I
title altogether?
what I would say, so a lot of people on their resumes, they will say like, "Oh, I worked at such and such place as an intern, and then later on, I moved into being a full time like developer." Right?
Mhm.
They'll have like two roles listed.
Mhm.
So you could maybe do something like that. You could say that you were a you were a mentor at Cyber Patriot product development, and you have that on for a time, and then the next one you can say like software developer, right, at a later point. And one of your duties as a software developer was also
Well, I
mentoring
think he already
people.
did that. So he has Cyber Patriot Mentor down here, and then
Well,
product development. So maybe say software developer here,
Okay.
yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'd get
like
rid of this professional expert because that only causes confusion. Real quick, 4K Ned Flanders has given a follow. Thanks, 4K Ned Flanders.
thank you. All right. Managed SQLite databases using Python, implemented new records and updated existing tables. Develop vulnerability checks for firewall rules on a Windows application using Visual Basic scripting. Oh my.
That sounds awful.
Debugged and transported UI. Successfully debugged a Windows app UI, facilitated its transition to Linux Debian, and ensured seamless functionality. Automated deployments with REST APIs, developed a script automating the deployment of any given number of pods to respective data stores, streamlining a previously time-consuming process. Established competitive environments on Windows and Linux, designed a system to collect and compare vulnerabilities, assigning points to students based on their skills in system hardening.
So instead of saying established competitive environments, that sounds really
Mhm.
weird because I don't know of any competitive computing environments. But I would say, this is kind of in the format of a game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to like explain it or?
Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, pretty much they get onto a computer, so it's either Windows or Linux. And there's a bunch of vulnerabilities going on in the system. So as they go through and they harden the system, they gain points and it gets displayed on like an HTML page for them. And they get like on like an hour or two, depending on how difficult it is. And yeah, so from there they just pretty much try to complete as much as they can and gain as much points as possible.
So I would say that you developed an environment or not an environment. I'd say you something you put on the infrastructure for like a cybersecurity competition. I think that would make
Yeah.
more. I think that'd be more concise and be easier to parse through. Because a lot of these people, when they read the resumes, they're just looking through as quickly as possible. In this established competitive environments, it hits my brain wrong, and I would just if I have a stack of 10 resumes, I'd see that and I don't know what the hell that means, and I'd move on, right? Now I wouldn't throw the
Yeah.
resume away, but I'd move on to the next point.
hmm
So yeah, one thing I'll say too, like these colons here, don't do that.
Okay.
That's a hard no. Like you want it to read nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
I want to hit the first bullet point. Manage SQLite databases using Python, implemented new records and updated existing tables. Okay, so that right there, what you're kind of saying is, hey, I've worked with databases,
mhm.
and some Python. I know my way around a database, but my question then becomes, okay, well, like, what's the context of that, right? What was the product that you were working on? What were you doing in the databases? Because if it's like, oh, well, I use SQLite. Well, did you just install it and make one table and call it a day? Or was this in a production application that people were using, in earnest? So that's an important thing. What was this database for?
So most of what I've done there is based off of that game pretty much for the students. So because nothing could be online, a lot of the other mentors wanted to be offline. Um, I made the database locally and use that to check for the vulnerabilities that they've put on, and then compare whether they've gained points or not. Yeah.
Gotcha. So I would almost say if I had to put it into words, you developed a capture the flag sandbox environment for students. Would that be correct?
That's like the best way I've heard it said. So, thank you.
You developed let's see, I'm gonna write this down as well. Oh my god, I hate being between keyboards.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I I pretty much wrote down everything that I could into ChatGPT, and then I had to help me make the bulletin points. So
if
they sound
ChatGPT
wonky.
wrote this is why you don't use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You can use it to like kind of supplement things or to generate ideas, but ultimately you want it to be like your own words.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
The way I look at ChatGPT is if you understand how ChatGPT works, it basically comes up with a heuristic model based on what you give it, and it figures out what statistically makes sense coming afterwards. And of course, this is just going to be a regression to the mean, the average of whatever it's put in. And I am an exceptional developer and an exceptional writer, which means that ChatGPT can never do as good of a job as me. It can only be faster. That's my thought. Now, maybe I'm being a little bit pompous, but
Makes sense.
So, would it be accurate to say that you developed a capture the flag sandbox environment for student coursework?
It was an after school program. I wouldn't say it was coursework. But yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Okay, right. Sorry, this is all mentoring.
Mhm.
For a student mentoring program.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna keep a running set of bullet points here in our VC. Let's see. There we go. So that's the first one, and that's what I would lead with as well. You developed a capture the flag sandbox environment for the student mentoring program for Cyber Patriots student mentoring program. So that's a good bullet point to lead with because that adds justification for everything that's going to follow. Okay, so once we've established that, now let's talk about the database work. So you manage SQLite databases using Python. Was that using SQL Alchemy, just raw SQL
Yes.
queries? Okay.
SQL Alchemy.
That is something that you want to mention.
Okay.
It's a good tool. Good library to call out by name, especially if you're looking for jobs using Python and developing Python. So let's see. You manage the SQLite database schema using Python, SQL Alchemy. Oh my god, my typing is so bad. Get a split keyboard, folks. It'll do a world of good for you. Except for like the first 2 weeks, it's really gonna suck. You manage SQLite database schema. I'll just say database using SQL Alchemy and Python, and you implementing new you say implemented new records and updated existing tables. When you say implemented new records, is that like you added new schemas or new tables to the database, or
Yeah, I updated the current ones and added new ones. So yeah.
gotcha? Managed. Updating. Fuck me. Updating existing tables and adding and updating. I'll just say adding and updating tables. Because we'll have to keep moving this on. Okay, so the second bullet point there, I'll go ahead and throw that in as well. All right. One bullet point down. Let's do this. So, develop vulnerability checks for firewall rules on a Windows application using Visual Basic scripting. Okay.
Yeah.
Nate, any comments?
VBS, Visual Basic Scripting. That's the way you're supposed to do that, but I would rather just say Visual Basic Scripting or just Visual Basic.
Okay.
Gotcha. I don't think there's anything I would really change there. That line seems fine, although as we go down, we might reorder stuff. So you debugged and transported UI. I've never heard of anyone transporting a UI. Successfully debugged a Windows app UI, facilitated its transition to Linux, and ensured seamless functionality. So
that sounds like a real Chat GPTer right there.
Yeah. Chat GPT 3.5 especially.
Oh, I think this might be Chat GPT 2. Are you going Chat GPT Classic there, buddy?
I was thinking that. I didn't want to say it. Facilitate. So what you did was you ported software, right, from one platform to another. That would be like the correct technical term. So what was this UI? Was this a web UI? Was this local? Do tell.
So it's the same project. So the UI for it, wanted to keep it the same. So I tried to pretty much drag it over from Windows over to Linux. I figured it was mostly work, and it pretty much did because it uses I think tkinter, to kind of help make it. So because of that, I was like, I don't think it's gonna be too bad, and it was functional enough. So it was something that I didn't have to rebuild. I was able to use most of the same functions.
Okay, so you ported. I'll say you ported the sandbox to Linux from Windows. And why did you do that? What was the point of that?
Oh.
What was the value add?
Well, yeah, so save time. I didn't want to have to rebuild it in Linux, but a lot of the like flags are gonna be different in Linux. So I wanted to pretty much have like the same UI for different vulnerabilities.
That makes sense.
Okay, so you're basically.
Wait a second, so were they able to do this capture the flag thing on Linux at all before?
No.
Then you have buried the lead, my friend. You have now doubled the surface area of the capture the flag. Before, it was just some little lowly Windows stuff. Now it's Windows and Linux. I mean, if you bring Mac OS, it'll be boxed in.
Yeah. So I think that's a lot of a better way to phrase it, is that you
expanded the capture the flag scenario by integrating Linux into the entire system.
Or you added support for Linux.
Yeah.
To the sandbox. So say you.
So you'd say you added support for Linux by migrating or by porting the front end, and generating capture the flag tasks in Linux. Something along those lines, maybe.
Correct. Also, are you typing this in the chat for the call, or?
Yeah, and I can send these to you afterwards. Right now,
Okay.
I'm typing it in another window I have up
Okay,
on
okay.
my computer. So added support for
He's sadly not
Linux
typing
by
it in a Vim
porting.
window, and I'm disappointed in him.
Added support for Linux by porting the UI, and adding the necessary and adding relevant challenges.
Yeah,
Flags?
That's good. Adding relevant challenges.
And implementing relevant CTF challenges.
Yep.
Sure. And let's see, I'll go ahead and add that one as well. Sorry if this is a bit slow rolling, because a lot of these things that you've done here, I consider them to be like really, really high impact. Very good stuff. It's just the phrasing and kind of getting these details out. This is all like really good work.
Thank you.
Let's see. Automated deployment with REST APIs. Developed a script automating the deployment of any given number of pods to respective data stores, streamlining a previously time-consuming process.
DevOps.
Could almost get rid of the automated deployment with REST APIs. So how did you do that? Right? Like, what was the intersection of a REST API with this DevOps pipeline?
Actually, before you answer that, I'm just going to tell you right here, all of this can be summed up by saying implemented a DevOps pipeline for continuous deployment.
Yeah.
Go ahead with that.
Actually, that's no further comment. You just punched it up beautifully. Say it one more time.
I got to be honest with you, brother. I cannot remember what I said, but I know it was good.
Implemented DevOps pipeline, and then I forgot the.
Oh, to enable continuous deployment. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Okay, beautiful. You got it. I'll just add my notes here. Click the stream. Add what Nate said. There you go.
Don't worry, I tagged that one. That one's going up on a YouTube short. Hello, YouTube Shorts.
Okay, beautiful. Established competitive environments on Windows and Linux, designed the system to collect and compare vulnerabilities, assigning points to students based on skills and hardening. You could take that, those details, and use that to supplement the first point, or the would-be first point in the bullet points I have here for you.
Okay.
So it says, you developed a capture the flag sandbox environment for Cyber Patriot student mentoring program, and then you could say you designed a system to collect and compare vulnerabilities. You designed the system to collect and compare vulnerabilities and assign points to students based on their system hardening.
Skill.
There we go. System hardening skills. Yes. Let's see. Open the chat. I will go ahead and pop that in there as well. And yeah, so there you go. Overall, this is like kind of your only piece of work experience, right, so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've held it now for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta say, that's pretty good, right? If you're coming out of college with a degree and already like 2 years of work experience, even if it's part-time, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. The mentoring stuff, technical mentor for MS students, I would just turn that into something more verbal, more actionable. So you mentored students. You created a curriculum, developed materials. Yeah, I would, phrase it differently as well. You created a curriculum around the system that you developed. That's so incredible. Research. Okay, wow. So you actually did some research too.
Yeah. Our school kind of let undergrad students kind of participate in that. I signed up and I was able to get a spot.
Investigate
Nice.
potential vulnerabilities in roadside units, RSUs, within vehicular ad hoc networks, VANETs. Again, with the parentheses, I don't like those, but Moosieus doesn't care. But it's like the whole thing. Methodology.
So-
Demonstrated DDoS. You didn't say distributed denial of service attack using the Lustus scenario and the Network Simulator 3 in S3 to exemplify potential threats. These look good, by the way. I mean, this is pretty tight, pretty good. What do you think, Moose?
Would you say that you demonstrated vulnerabilities in vehicular ad hoc networks using distributed denial of service attacks?
So yes, but because the whole point was we were using like a real life scenario with that less scenario situation, we ended up modifying it, and we weren't able to use it as real time or real kind of data points because of the way that we modified it. But I believe so, yeah.
Like, I guess of all this work, what would be the big takeaway? Were you able to write a paper or tell people, like, hey, this is a problem that you need to look out for, that you need to patch?
Yes.
Oh, definitely
And-
link that paper.
Yeah,
Alright.
and talk about that, right? Like, what was the thing that you identified that was a serious problem?
Okay.
Because as it sounds right now, the way this reads is it's kind of just like, yeah, I looked at this stuff.
Mhm.
It's like, did you come to any conclusions? No.
So for that, would I have to tag? Would I tag the paper, or should I like put that in the bulletins themselves?
Oh, add the paper.
Yeah, just throw
Okay,
a link in
like-
there someplace.
Yeah, and summarize it like very very briefly as to like what you what vulnerability you demonstrated and in what network, and then you can just link the paper.
Okay.
Projects. Campsite filter designed and implemented a web scraping tool targeting key national parks.
Need a link.
Gathered real-time data on open campsites. Okay, so was this something that you did yourself, or was this a class project?
That's for me. I want to go camping in Yosemite. It's really hard to get a spot, so I did this just so like I could see open spots and like when they're open.
Well, this is
Is
fantastic.
this on?
Definitely link to this if it's on your GitHub.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I was almost going to say, like, you don't have to include a project, but this actually sounds really cool. That sounds neat. So link that. That's good.
And then this purpose colon thing. That's some chat GPT. I can tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, just say gather real-time data on open campsites. I mean, then you don't need to say anything. You don't need the purpose.
hmm
Skills, preferred languages, Python, C, C++, Java. Now, personally, I would get rid of Java so that no one accidentally sends you to, looks at your resume and thinks you want to be a Java developer. That's just me. If you like Java, if you, hate fun and all that, you're free
really
to do
don't.
that. Yeah, then you feel free to leave that off. Actually, maybe you want to leave that there so you have 4 languages instead of 3. I would be so bold as to remove Java.
hmm
I would also add, obviously you're familiar with Linux. I assume Git, Windows as well.
Yep.
Those are all good things to
And-
mention if you have the space for it.
Also, I would separate C and C++. If you put C/C++, they assume, well, this guy probably wrote in one of those languages and thinks he knows the other one. If you put them on separate lines, then it's like, this guy knows 2 languages.
All right, for sure.
And-
Yeah, that's what I was worried about with that one.
I would also maybe add something to your skills because you don't mention Java or C++ anywhere else, which is fine. I assume it's for coursework because if you're in like American universities or colleges, that's what a lot of them use. But I would add some detail to say like, hey, here's how familiar I am with each of these. Like, here's what I've used each of these languages for. Definitely mention SQLite. Definitely mention Git and Linux. And any cloud stuff that you've done as well, like AWS, Azure, GCP.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the I had it initially, but I've had like other people kind of like help me build a resume, and I feel like it's like a mix of like do this, but then don't do this, and then it's like the exact same thing. So like I don't like the parentheses either, but they told me to kind of like spell everything out and then put parentheses. And like yeah, it's I feel like it ended up kind of going all over the place, where like something is right and wrong at the same time.
Well, with the parentheses thing, if you're writing a document, like a long document, and you say roadside units RSUs, and then for the remainder of the document you just say RSUs, it makes sense. But to waste this much space when you could only waste this much space makes sense. Makes more sense than a resume, especially when you don't mention roadside units later on. If maybe you did a whole lot of work with roadside units and there's 10 things and you mentioned RSUs in every other one, then it makes sense in the first one to say roadside units, by the way, that's RSUs, and then say RSUs in the rest. It doesn't really serve much. It doesn't really help much to have the acronym or the initialism if you already spelled it out and that's the only time you're using it. I think that's where the confusion lies.
I'm going to counter and say that there is some value for applicant tracking systems and resume scanners.
Oh, I hate building to the robot.
I do too. But
I make my resume so that a human can look at it and go, "Wow, Nate is a good guy." I don't care what a robot thinks about me. I command the robot. The robot doesn't tell me what to do.
Yeah, true, but it's a small concession. With skills, though, like definitely add more detail to the skills, right? Say like I've used Python for 3 years, 4 years.
3.
3, perfect, beautiful. That's amazing. That's wonderful stuff to add. And Nate, I always point to your resume and to steal the format of your skills section because
the skills section is absolutely on fleek, lit, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually haven't tried going to this link since I. Oh no, I got it. Those are my skills.
There you go. Yeah, like that's really good.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, this is just an overleaf template. This isn't. I'm not very good at what's this thing called? LaTeX. You can just go on overleaf.com and you can get it. And I need that overleaf sponsorship. I keep sending them so many people.
Does
overleaf sponsor me?
Well?
What?
Do they use LaTeX as well? Or?
Yeah, it's all LaTeX there.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I guess to kind of punch things up and conclude, Nate, you want to make your closing statements while I go take a leak?
Yeah, certainly.
All right.
Closing statements. Yeah, this looks all right. You can't trust ChatGPT, not quite yet to do stuff. They tend to have certain patterns that everything jumps into on ChatGPT, and it's kind of annoying. So yeah, so definitely work on personally crafting each and every sentence. I understand looking at it for the doing what you can to make it so the robot can understand, which it does make sense. But I say if
there's still a human.
Yeah, if you carve out your niche, then there's much less robot stuff. If you're applying for a job that is more, let me try this again. If you're applying for a job that is more niche and has fewer applicants, then there's a much higher probability that a human will look at it and not a robot at all. And that'll happen as you get more experience and you get deeper into your career. Right now, being more inexperienced and looking for mostly junior roles, it might actually make sense to keep those in there just in case, because if a job has 5,000 applicants, then you can't send one person after all that. You need to do some sort of filtering, and this will help you get through that filtering to start. Though I would recommend dropping these off as you get more experience and get more into your niche and start applying for more specialized positions. Otherwise, what I already said, get rid of relevant courses after you get your first job. Your education should be moved down lower once you have a proper software engineering job. What else? Separate C and C++, and link. Make this an embedded like hyperlink, so you just click on it and it opens up your web browser. That's going to be very useful. Otherwise, yeah, it looks good. And thanks for coming on the stream.
Thank you. Could I also get those notes? I don't see the
Moose
the chat.
will send them over. And if he doesn't, then sorry, you're gonna have to dig through my YouTube live stream history and give me that sweet views. Anyway, so
thank you.
Yeah, so the final Moose is just getting back. So I say your final verdict is going to be I'm gonna put you in heaven 1. So you're in heaven, but you're not in the top heaven. No, this isn't.
Yeah,
This isn't
barely
the
getting
best.
by.
I mean, you're getting there, and normally I'd give this. Maybe I'm going too easy on you. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting soft in my old age.
I say this is actually a hellish resume, but you have a good body of work.
Yeah, this. You know what? Maybe I'm just impressed by the capture the flag stuff and the and your project. You know what? Maybe Moose is right. Maybe I'm getting soft.
It's very clunky. I would agree.
Yeah,
your work is great. Your resume sucks.
Yeah, you know what? I'm getting the work and the resume mixed up. I think that's accurate. All right, Fish. Any final words before I drop you unceremoniously into the Hangout chat where everyone is muted? So I'm actually just going to kick you from the call because what's the point in sending you a chat where there's no one talking?
Make sure you do disconnect.
Yeah, I want to disconnect, not kick. I don't want to kick you. Please hang out on the server, please.
No, thank you. I mean, this is honestly the most helpful I've gone as far as resume recommendations go. So thank you guys.
Glad I could help.
Oh, you flatter me.
All right, see ya. And I hit disconnect, not kick. Very important. I don't think I've ever made that mistake, but we'll see what happens next. So there's a lot of chat to catch up with. And
oh goodness, yeah.
Whoa,
sorry.
Notarin Steel, subscribe for a month. Appreciate it, Notarin. Notarin, interesting that you would do that now because you're up next. But first, I got to get through the chat. So looks like we have one more person who wants to get in at the last second. We'll see if he shows up. Maybe we speed through his. Maybe not. I don't know. How you feeling energy wise, Moose?
I've got a lot of energy. I'm feeling good.
Fantastic. Then we'll just power through.
I drank some nice black tea before we started this, so I've got the caffeine in me. I'm good to go.
Why gotta be black tea though? Anyway,
because that has the most caffeine.
Fair enough.
That's why.
Let's see. What else we got? Just discussion about who's gonna go first. Let's see.
Well,
a hype train just started.
We've got Noter in here and waiting, so...
Yeah. What does a hype train mean?
Whoa, you tell me.
Ryan1313 just subscribed with Prime. Appreciate the Prime sub. Yeah, I don't know what a hype train is, but 62%? I don't know what that means. What do I do with that? I'm so allergic to success.
There's like some emote rewards and stuff for people who participate and
fun.
whatnot.
Well,
there you go.
Neat. I have like 7 viewers right now, so I don't know who's gonna. Anyway, let's bring in Notarin. What's going on, Notarin?
Guten Tag. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Your volume is low.
All right, I can bump it up myself.
Nope, you're good.
Or you can bump it up.
I take it
good
back.
Now?
Yep, you are good. Thanks for coming on the stream. I know you've been on the stream before. Friend of the stream, Notarin. How you doing?
Howdy, howdy.
I had your resume up. There it is. And you said you're cool with not censoring?
Yeah, I couldn't care less. Worst case scenario, I get some emails or calls, I'll just block.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I don't have my address
phone
on
number
there.
in here, and then
censor
we'll
the phone number. We already learned that
lesson.
lesson.
Email, I don't really care, but yeah, we already learned that. I was telling you, and then you so boldly ignored my advice.
Oh, you're looking at it on Overleaf. You're not like exporting the PDF or anything.
Please, I can edit it here. This is beautiful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking I was going to be like editing it as y'all told me what's what, and like y'all be looking at the PDF. This works great, even better.
All right, so how do I make the PDF side bigger? There we go.
I'll go ahead and say.
There we go.
I'm looking at two different time points in the stream. So I saw you saying "there we go" as soon as you put your cursor on the arrows, and I was like, "That doesn't. What is he talking about?"
Yeah. You want to look at my stream in Discord here, and then that'll get you a real time view or close to it.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and say I went ahead and put everything. I know I have too many like projects on there,
Not
but I did it with
No,
necessarily.
the
not necessarily. I mean,
okay.
you
Well,
got
I
a bunch
did
of
it with
empty
the
space at the bottom
intention.
here, so
Yeah, I did it with the intention of like getting everything that I'm comfortable with showing off, and we can just prune whatever is not the greatest.
okay. So we got Aaron Mays, 424C414E4B at gmail.com. You got to get a new email address. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know what
know,
that
right?
means. You can set up a free Gmail and forward it. You can set up a Proton Mail and forward it. You got to have something normal. Mays at yahoo.com or whatever. I wouldn't be
And
caught
Yeah.
dead using a Yahoo account, but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
while we're on the subject too, there's a setting in your LinkedIn profile where you can get a vanity URL that is just your name and none of the like weird characters. But that can be for later.
Well,
Yeah,
you can
The
get a
focus now is
or
LinkedIn
Notarin
email.
works. Notarin works fine if you want to
Mm.
have that. Like, it doesn't
not
have to be Aaron
yeah.
Mays. It just can't be something that's like absolute nonsense for someone to type in.
You can't get a LinkedIn email, but you can get a vanity URL,
Yeah.
right? But that we can worry about that later. Focus right now is the
I get what you're saying now.
yeah.
So yeah, and
Okay.
so the email and your LinkedIn, maybe have it be AA Mays, maybe have it be Notarin. It's fine if it's Notarin, though. Something more professional is probably preferred.
Yeah, I got you.
So, a passionate hobbyist programmer with 6 years of independent experience. I think that's
Gotcha.
that's pretty good, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. I would.
I had a friend write that line for me. They're a really great friend. I think they're kind of cool.
Was it your friend ChatGPT?
No,
Just
it was
checking.
you.
Just checking.
I would center that line, and then I would say, I guess I didn't cover this on the other resumes, but what do we feel about putting skills at the top above projects? And
I think
then
it's a good idea. I think I would definitely put the skills above the experience here, given that the experience is not anything to do with software.
I mean, I can.
Skills
I don't
all
know
the
how
way at the
you
top
feel
is
about me.
all right.
How do you feel about me performing any changes while like you're on it?
Nah. I am the captain now.
10-4.
here, wait. So, are you able to just like do that in the code editor? Like take
Oh,
the
yeah,
skill
that's not a
section
problem.
and pop it up top. I can't say I'm a fan of this markup, but
What are you talking about? This is beautiful.
well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
The beauty of the beholder is in your mom's eyes. Got him.
I think I'm just too HTML pilled
Yeah, that's your problem.
front end.
Let's recompile this bad boy.
It takes a while.
yeah.
Oh my
oh,
god.
Oh, screwed that up. I grabbed the end document there. I didn't
Oh.
mean to do that. Cut.
What you can do.
and Paste.
So what you
And
can do is you can there's some settings if you hit the drop down arrow, and there's a fast version that looks the exact same to me.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you can also have it auto compile too.
Oh, that's what we want. That's what we want. Auto compile, fast
Yeah.
draft mode, check syntax, of course. There we go. Now this is
Beautiful.
more like it.
Awesome.
Okay. So
Actually, now that I'm looking at it, skills is way better at the top.
Yeah. I think when you have like the education oriented ones, it can be a bit different because it's like kind of hard to lay stuff out. But since that doesn't apply here, and you're, as it says, a hobbyist programmer with 6 years of independent experience, I think that kind of attacking the like languages and technologies more at the top is better. Kind of gets to the point a little bit. So languages: Rust, Java, Python, JavaScript. Would you be able to say how many years of experience roughly you have with all of these?
It's a little bit difficult because I've done a lot of jumping around and like fiddling. But with Rust, I definitely have at least 1 year of experience because I
Nate,
saw
could
one of
you
my earliest.
want to add that just in parentheses next to Rust, real quick?
Um, so yeah, with Rust, I definitely have at least 1 year of experience because I just recently looked at my LinkedIn and I saw one of my earliest projects a little over a year ago. Um, with Java, that one's difficult. Uh, I'd say I've probably messed with it from like beginning to like whenever I tapered off. Uh, about maybe a year.
But
Okay,
when was
1
the
year.
first time you did it?
I could not tell you to be honest.
Decade ago?
Well, definitely not that long ago.
How about 2 years?
I definitely messed with it. Uh, Probably 2 years ago, maybe more.
2 years. Python.
Python I've used mostly just for like cranking out automated stuff, scripts. You know, like oh, I need to. So for example, I needed to make these. So I was working with this framework that was basically for a game, and like I needed to take all the images and the images that get piped into it, all have, uh, basically reads from it like from range to range, like the PNG data, and then presents that as full pictures. So I had to make
So,
basically collages. So like
well,
I cranked that out on Python.
1 year then.
Uh,
We'll do that because this
that
whole
sounds
like
fun.
1 year, 2 year metric is utter recruitment BS. So
Yeah,
we'll just say how
it
about
isn't the
one
reality
year.
of it. 1 year
Okay.
sounds fine.
If someone said, "Hey, can you open up a CSV file in Python and do some math?"
Of
You'd be able to
course.
do it. Yeah.
Yes, of
If
course.
if
But
someone
like
said,
if someone
"Hey,
asked me, apologies.
make a Flask website,"
I didn't know.
could you,
In
could you open up the
Python,
could you open up the docs and figure out how to use a
oh,
decorator?
of course.
Yeah,
Of course. I
perfect.
could probably figure out how to make a Flask website in like a fairly short amount of time.
All right. So JavaScript.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're just serving HTML.
Yeah, you're not going to be caught blind by like the significant white space and stuff. So that's fine. JavaScript, last but not least.
That is actually the language I started off with.
6 years.
Technically, yeah, so technically 6 years.
Whoops. I spelled that
Although it
wrong.
is, although it is like, funnily enough, my second weakest language.
Ah,
Is
don't
the
worry about
language I've
that.
had the most
6 years.
6 years.
You can always hedge it later.
Hmm.
Technologies. So Node, Git, Linux, CI/CD, and LaTeX. Um, that
Yeah, I
that
couldn't
seems
think of
about
anything else.
on point, and you don't have to necessarily go into years and stuff. And
Oh,
also,
I I just remembered. I have some experience with databases like MySQL, SQLite, Neo4j, and a little bit of Redis.
oh,
So
That's fantastic.
I understand those, and I don't have any like real projects to show off that feature me using those. So I was wondering if there was some way I could show that off in this, or if it would be a good idea to show it off rather.
I would just add it to. We'll add it to technologies and tools for now.
Now we'll put it on.
Are you able to create a table, two tables, as a matter of fact, add an index on them, and select star and join?
You don't even need that much. A join. Can you do a join?
Yeah,
You know what
for
a
a
join
relational. Yeah, I know what a join is.
is? Fantastic.
Okay,
All
perfect,
right.
beautiful. So you're familiar with them. You can add them to the technologies
All
and
right,
tools
what
section.
I
database?
understand relational data. So I would like to say Postgres, but that's honestly a lie. That's not something that's resume worthy. MySQL, SQLite, Neo4j, which I absolutely adore, by the way, and Redis.
Okay.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right.
I love setting up other database paradigms in Redis using constraints. That is such a fun activity.
Nerd. Anyway, projects. First and foremost, Hayabusa. Wow, this is a
Yes,
good project. Let's take a look.
It
at
is
this.
my keystone.
You know, I recall.
So-
it just links to
Hold-
GitHub.com.
Uh-oh.
We gotta fix that.
Yeah, you gotta fix
Oh,
that.
I did not. Yeah, I did not realize that there were links. That those were links. Oops.
Yeah.
So- Me and Nate know what Hayabusa is, but
No,
how
no,
about,
no, no.
you-
Hold on. All the viewers know what Hayabusa is. Please, all they have to do is
Of
go to
course they do.
npmail.com, click on YouTube, and then scroll down. Oh, look at that. Live now. Interesting. And then click on Hayabusa, a fast Neofest replacement. And you have me
11,
and
not
Notarin going
doing it
line
vertic-
by line through the whole
Control
thing
that
while I'm wearing that
You
douchey
Could be
Versace
it.
robe. The viewers know about Hayabusa. Please.
Beautiful. Hey, 21 stars. Oh, come on, Nate. Really?
What, did I do something?
Where's the star? Come on. Come on. Come on.
There we go.
Hey, there we go. There we go. All right,
Damn, look at
moving
those
on.
Contributors. Very cool.
Like, you contributor.
Extraordinarily
Come on.
cool. Wow. Holy cow. I mean, this is like a
Yeah, that
who's
guy looks
who
pretty
of,
cool.
This is like a who's who of interesting and great members of society. Anyway.
Okay. So, Hayabusa, an efficient vast system information terminal display and API. That
So I'll go ahead and explain for anyone who doesn't know, because this fact commonly is omitted in people's understanding of what it is. It's not just a fetch; it is multifaceted. It's also a API or socket, or however you want to refer to it. It is a method of getting system information in a really fast, like a few microseconds way. It puts a socket in the temp directory, or which is also customizable if you so wish. And any program can pull system information from that. So you could have like a polybar that pulls system information from it, scripts, programs, anything that can get information about your system from that. You can even do it
Gotcha.
in Bash in like 3 lines.
So, would it be appropriate to say that it acts as a repository for system information?
There's also
Sorry.
a bundled fetch inside of it.
Local
micros-
cache for system information.
A local cache for system information with microsecond latency.
Ooh.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Ooh.
Doesn't just sound good, it is good. And there we go. I'll start up the new.
Oh,
Yeah,
we can
there we go.
just edit it right here. This is all live. We're on
Oh, yeah.
Overleaf.com. Please sponsor me, Overleaf. Overleaf, please sponsor me. I'm showing how easy and fun your product is. I'm shilling it to everyone. Overleaf, please sponsor me. What was that? What was that phrasing?
There we go. It's in our stream chat. Acts as a local cache
Local
for system
cache.
information with microsecond latency.
All right.
Would it be better to put that in one of the bullet points? Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Clearly, that's what. Excuse me.
No problem.
Acts as a local cache for system information
With microsecond latency.
with microsecond latency, and then we can get rid of.
The third bullet point.
We'll get rid of instant response and just say IPC socket, and then showcasing user system
yeah, that
information and
works, yeah.
visually showcases users information in visually appealing manner. Fantastic.
Would it be
Get a
appropriate to
period
say
on
that?
that first bullet point?
Ah, missed that. There you go.
Would it be appropriate to say that that bullet point is a work-alike to NeoFetch?
Oh yeah, it's very similar to NeoFetch. It was originally designed as a NeoFetch replacement, but its purpose expanded.
How do we want to add that in, or just say like parenthesis work-alike to NeoFetch? Or I mean that's not like the best phrasing, but
Similar to NeoFetch. That way it's
Yeah,
like
whenever I first started working on it, I referred to it as the quote-unquote
Ooh.
NeoFetch killer.
better yet, comma spaced similar to NeoFetch period. There we go. All as one
Ooh.
sentence.
Ooh. All my writing is nasty with parentheticals. That's something I need to work on.
I graduated high school English.
Must
All
be
right.
nice. Must be nice. I have a college degree and shit. Yeah, this is
For
good.
system information, expose the system information in an IPC socket. I guess access a local cache for system information with microsecond latency via an IPC socket?
Yeah, it makes more
Oh
Or
yeah, yeah, because that is the whole purpose of that.
or you could just say via IPC.
Gotta have the
Okay.
word API in there. Very important.
Good point. API,
Capitalize
yeah.
API.
Okay. Now we have a problem. There's only 2 bullet points here, and
we're too good at this. Moose, we've gone
3.
too far.
I think three's a lucky number. So let's think of some other positive things we can say about Hayabusa. Also, I love the name. I love the name so much.
Thank you. I didn't want to follow the current paradigm that is, a dime a dozen, R fetch, fast fetch, quick fetch, rust fetch. Yeah, I didn't want to follow that paradigm because I feel like it's a very quick and easy way to end up being just chucked in the pile of dime a dozen fetches.
Do you
Yeah.
do you compile this with Rust Nightly?
So I think I used to, but I think I switched to stable Rust because there was a bug with Clippy
So
at the time.
can I or can I not say utilize the state of the art Rust programming techniques? Because if you compile with Nightly, that's state of the art Rust techniques. Just saying.
I mean, I can compile with Nightly.
Oh, fantastic!
It
All right,
works
here we
just
go.
fine.
Is this implemented entirely in Safe Rust?
There is, if you don't turn on image permissions, if you don't turn on image support, then the lines of code that are executed never turn unsafe. Unfortunately, so unfortunately, because the only real way to get terminal size, like the size of your terminal, which I need to figure out the relationship between image pixel size and cell size. If you turn it on, unfortunately, I have to make a system call by hand, which absolutely requires unsafe Rust.
Gotcha. No way around it.
Yeah, there was no way around it.
Okay.
Believe me, I fought with it for 2 whole weeks
this
trying
is
to
very
find
easy.
some
This
way
is
to do
very
it.
easy. Utilizes mostly fully safe Rust and a custom safe wrapper around low-level OS functionality. Oh, phew, this isn't exactly right,
Yeah,
but there's
there's-
something in there. There's something to that.
If you go in the commit history and you, let me find it. It's somewhere in here. It's before this. For this.
I like that bullet point. You could workshop it a little bit more, but I think that really gets at the value there
Yeah,
and
we'll
the
just do a,
understanding
to do rewrite this.
in Rust.
rewrite this in Rust.
Write your resume in Rust. Oh boy.
KDL
yeah, I
document
found
manipulation
it.
program. Oh, sorry. What did you say?
My bad. I was just talking about the commit where I said I removed so from the very beginning, the first thing I did was I prohibited unsafe code in the very root of the project,
Mhm.
and yeah, I really didn't want to undo that.
That's
But
funny.
eventually, November 18th, there's a commit called remove unsafe code prohibition.
A day that will
Uh,
live
with
forever in infamy.
It's
It's
I,
become a major rogue on syscalls involving terminal info, so it has been removed.
the only reason I mentioned the whole safe Rust thing was just as like, I don't know, something to say it's some sort of flex, or
Yeah, I
as
wanted to.
a nod for you to say I understand memory safety, right?
Yeah, because I wanted to so badly, because and it has nothing so that unsafe tag, the command to make the syscall has nothing to do with memory safety. It's just the fact that they can't guarantee what a syscall does, that they made it unsafe.
That's fine.
All right, cool.
I guess that's pretty good. Okay, yeah, the name is linked as well. September 2023 to ongoing in Rust. Beautiful. Moving on. Shuttle. KDL document manipulation program. So
The hell
tell
is
us
a
all about
KDL
Shuttle.
document?
So this is a funny project because it is entirely rage fueled. Everything about this stems from dissatisfaction.
What's KDL?
So KDL is a document markup language like JSON, YAML, etc. It's pretty comparable to X. So imagine JSON, but contains information like XML. So XML, but looks like JSON. So the reason that I needed to make this is there's a piece of software I use called Zellage, and it handles its internal information. It has like cache exposed to the system, so that way you can see stuff about it. And that's in KDL, and I cannot stand KDL because the tooling around it is pretty much non-existent. Performing queries and stuff on it, just there's KQ, but it hasn't been updated in over 2 years, and it cannot do what I needed it to. But there is a query language, a spec query language that exists in the KDL-RS repository. So I made this. It performs queries on that. And I made it with the idea of it's going to expand. So right now, the way it works is you add a command line flag to specify what type of operation it's going to do, or internally it's the mode. Right now, the only one is query. So that's pretty much all it does. That's really just what I needed from it at the time. And as I think of more things to add, I will. But yeah, funnily enough, it stemmed entirely from just disliking the tools
So
available.
your first sentence was confusing, so I rewrote it to say performs KDL queries according to specification. That'll be helpful because the way you had it before hurt my brain. And then the next one I just said implemented with a modular code base for future integration.
Awesome. There is one problem with it. First off, if you click all the links for all the projects are not actual links because I did not realize that those were actual links. So it'll actually have to go to /nutter/shuttle.
Yeah.
That one does not have a README. I still got to make a README.
Definitely do that.
I guess that's
READMEs are important.
Yeah, I probably need to make note of that.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
pretty small. It's currently only single faceted.
Yeah. January 2024, so it hadn't been even 2 weeks. Okay, so that's work in progress. You can add more bullet points as that develops. Session TUI, multiplexer selection TUI. So queries multiplexer of choice, enters selected session. So that's quite terse, and I guess I'm trying to understand the value add of.
So basically, all it is you run it with a flag of whatever multiplexer you're using. So it currently supports Screen, TMUX, and Zellage, and it just pops up a fairly decent looking TUI, and you select with arrow keys or JK keys, and you just select your your session that's currently active of choice, and then it connects to it. So basically, the alternative is like running screen space dash ls, and then seeing the one you want, and then running screen dash r, and then typing the name of it. This one just compresses that all down into a single step.
Okay,
It's pretty much for the purpose.
This sounds like something you could do with shell script in about an hour.
Yeah, exactly. You could.
So I'd get rid of this entirely. This isn't very impressive. Or move it down at least.
That getting rid of it works fine for me. That was the idea my idea from the beginning. Pruning what isn't great.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit esoteric.
Yeah, too.
So maybe if you can spin it, or talk about it, how it improves the user experience, you could keep it. Moving on, no pumpkin binding. So a simple game mod. What game?
Yeah. So whenever I wrote this, I tried to avoid mentioning game terms or what game it was, because I felt like the technical details were what mattered. But specifically Minecraft.
Yeah,
It
mention
is
that.
literally a
Minecraft.
Minecraft mod.
Minecraft modding is huge. And don't
Works
call
great.
it simple. Just say it's Minecraft mod / hobby project. Well, I mean that's kind of implied, but
So basically, what it does is what inspired me to create this was I was playing on a server at the time that I was pretty involved in, that I actually came to end up owning, by the way. But basically, what was going on is they have keep inventory on, so if you die, your inventory is preserved.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put on so if someone puts on you using a dispenser, or you put on a pumpkin with the curse of binding, there is no way to remove it, because the only way to remove that is to either run out. The only way to remove a curse of binding object is to run out the durability, or B, die and have it come off. Running out the durability isn't possible on a pumpkin, because pumpkins don't have durability. And if keep inventory is on, that also removes the ability to die and remove it. So the only way to remove it would be to contact a mod. So I made this.
So what you're telling me is that this remediates a game-breaking bug?
Yes.
Phew. Then what the? What?
What?
Are you following? Remediates a game-breaking bug. You gotta say that.
Oh yeah, that works great. But what it does is it just if you try to put one on,
so
it registers a command so that if you're wearing one, it'll remove it for you. And it also makes the creation of them impossible, because it watchdogs the events that can create them, and makes it so it doesn't.
Yeah, the exact specifics aren't as important. I think watchdogging events, you might be able to spin that, but saying that it it patches out a game-breaking bug, that's huge, right? Definitely mention that, right? That's significant. And then also, I guess if you can talk about how in maybe a little bit of the depth of Java that you had to go into. That's all good stuff. And game programming is very, very challenging. So I definitely commend you for that. I don't know if every place you apply to is going to feel the same way, but I certainly do, and I know that others do as well. Gmod LiDAR. So
Before we go on,
Oh.
because those edits haven't been made, and it was to my understanding that that Nate will be
Oh, don't worry, I'm on it.
Okay, yeah, because
No,
I was wondering
I
if I
was caught
needed to
up
make note of it.
because you creating a new itemized section for each item, and you don't need to do that. You can just list all the items off.
Oh,
And I saw that up here, and I'm
my
like,
bad.
wait a minute, am I doing this right if I'm making an edit? And then I was hesitant to make the edit. But now that I've tested it and proven that it's not a problem, we can clean this up a little bit.
That works fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was doing that.
So what is this? Patches out a game breaking bug. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. You can fix that later.
And yeah,
Gmod LiDAR. Do we want to move on to that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Gmod LiDAR, there was a trend that happened a couple years ago where
I know
LiDAR games, yeah, you've heard of it or seen it.
Mhm.
Where LiDAR games and mods got real popular, and there was a Gmod LiDAR game that went, there was a Gmod LiDAR mod that went viral, and people absolutely loved it. The problem, there's a few problems. First off, if you can't use any other mods, it has to be the only mod available, or it has to be the only mod enabled. So it shuts off all other mods. It also was a little bit buggy with some certain bindings. And multiplayer was just entirely impossible as well. So me and a friend of mine refactored it so that multiplayer worked. We refactored it, fixing a couple bugs.
Okay,
we
right there,
also
hang on.
refactored it, re-enabling the mods.
You patched the mod to work with other mods, right? Where previously it could not.
Yep.
Is that something I think worth mentioning, Nate? Is
I
that
already mentioned it.
a bit of
Enabling
color?
features previously explicitly disabled. Nice
Or
try.
well, I would be more like specific because that's very like, oh well, like there's some features of this mod that you couldn't use before, but I think that's a really big technological step, right? You have this one mod that is like, no, I only work myself, doesn't work with anything else, and you patched it so that it works with, it composes with anything else. I think that's like a strong value add,
That
right?
does make sense.
Yeah.
How
It
do we
is
word
worth
that?
mentioning that it was that mods, the external mods, were just explicitly disabled in that mod. If I recall, I think it just wasn't playing nice with other mods because it was hijacking events. So the mod author just straight up said, yeah, no other mods, and just forced it to be, instead of a loadable mod, he forced it to be a game type, which meant you couldn't add mods.
Yeah, so you refactored the mod to work with other mods, where previously it was standalone, where previously it was exclusively standalone. Do you want to add this bullet point, Nate?
No, I don't like that. I don't like that phrasing. There's a better way to put that. I don't have it though.
Re-enabled cross-mod functionality?
No.
Or enabled cross-mod functionality?
No.
Enabled multi-mod loading?
No. It has to be something that can be understood by someone who doesn't really play games or know anything about mods in a way that's like more generalizable. Something like I swear there's a good one here. I'm holding up the
Like
entire
convert it to a
stream.
modular mod?
Dead air. That's really good on a broadcast.
Yeah,
I was thinking that we just add what I said as a bullet point,
whatever. What was that?
and we'll working. Fuck.
Yeah, put a pin in it.
Fuck. Okay, weird. I don't know why you put
No,
that.
no, 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 no. I just forgot what I was gonna say.
No. I forgot what I was going to say.
We could just write down the thought and then refactor it later.
Yeah,
You
go
do.
clip the Twitch stream at what's the timestamp? Like 2:18:30. It's the best I got. I don't know. Feed it through GPT-4.
Yeah, I threw on a to-do, so we're good.
Here.
All
Oh,
right. So
to
experience is not fantastic. I can just already say that.
Line
There's
operator.
one thing in there. Yeah.
and then-
There's one thing in there that I think is actually a pretty good thing to mention. Like it's that there's one thing in there that actually contributes to my credentials as a developer, but it's barely.
let's hear it.
It's the last bullet point, the very bottom thing.
Oh, implemented Kanban workflow web UI for managing processes and instructions.
Yep, implemented, not developed, but yeah, I set it up so that it
I mean,
Yeah.
you could say developed as well. I don't think anyone's gonna hang you for saying that.
Yeah, I could say developed a Kanban workflow, but I'm just a little bit uncomfortable saying I developed the Kanban web UI.
Okay. You implemented Kanban
Speaking of, now
workflow
that
web
I've
UI
been
for managing.
termed,
So
which, sorry,
reordering is good. Did it involve programming?
it involved basically fetching it actually did involve some slight programming, because I had to change the way it got some variables, but not any real programming.
Was it JavaScript?
I can't remember what language it was in, but
Did you have to write
basic-
code, functions, expressions, statements?
I replaced a couple.
Wait, did you do any
I
polymorphic
replaced,
inheritance?
I
Singletons?
replaced like one or two expressions to defer it from getting an environmental variable to an actual variable from a config file.
Hey, fuck it, that's programming. I'll count that.
Yeah. But basically what I did, I can't remember I think it was called Taiga, maybe? I couldn't tell you right now, but basically I went and got that Kanban project thing, and I tried to host it on a VPS, which didn't quite work out because of some certificate stuff, because I tried the Docker image version, and the Docker image was rather horrid, so I had to get the source and then try and host that, and that didn't quite work out, so I had to make just a couple modifications, and it worked out. I ended up, being able to host that project. And I got with my production manager, and I said, hey, I'd really like it if we got this in the process. This allows anyone to request the production or changes or whatever of any process instructions. We should,
So what the hosting look like for this? Because I'm what I'm hearing is DevOps.
it was a web UI, so it was it was hosted on a VPS, and that VPS it hosted its own web UI on
Did
a
you
domain.
log into that VPS?
Is it AWS?
No,
Linode?
it was it wasn't Linode. It was actually DigitalOcean, but
Well,
yes,
but
it was a literal VPS.
Did you log into it?
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
DevOps,
So you're,
DigitalOcean, VPS.
yeah. Let's just.
Oh,
do-
I could probably put that in technologies, couldn't I? DigitalOcean and Linode.
Yeah, you could. Cloud experience with DigitalOcean.
DevOps, VPS, cloud, whatnot. So and so. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
bef-
Sorry.
So if are we just going over like both the positions, because technically it was the same work term, ended up getting a promotion from line operator to TWI a little
Splitting
bit.
it like this is fine. That's perfect.
Yeah, I wouldn't even
Okay,
that's
specify
so-
promotion. They'll get it if you work for the same place and did 2 different jobs. Whoa,
If you
Love
haven't-
Dove 1997 followed. Appreciate the follow. Sorry, I had to.
And
You're fine.
also, I would really dig into like what you did with DigitalOcean, DevOps, the VPS stuff. Since you've been doing this for 2 years, I assume you've improved the process as well, right?
of that Kanban board.
Of sure, or your job as a training coordinator. I'm guarantee you've had to make improvements, right? You say like, oh well, this part of my training job sucks, so I'm going to make it better this way. I'm going to improve this process.
Yeah, if you actually check out my LinkedIn, I actually have a post of I'll grab the URL of it if that is fine.
We've already gone
actually
for
have-
a really long time here, and
Ye-
Tenet is just waiting.
Apologies.
Yeah,
my bad.
Well,
I automated entering names into into the database UI. I automated that.
With what language?
It was with the process automation thing that's like built into Windows. I can't. It's not like a language per se.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that works. I also did the same thing in Excel. I automated because we would have to like hide cells and show cells, print, hide different cells, show different cells, print. We'd have to do that over and over 36 times. I made that one big automation where it exported 36 PDFs and then combined them all.
Fantastic.
So I automated that
Hey.
too,
that's beautiful.
which
that-
was a VBA.
Oh, what's VBA? Is that not Visual?
Basic, dude.
Yeah.
Well, VBA, Visual VBS. I don't understand
No,
the.
V for visual, B for B, and then A for ASIC. VBA.
That's cringe.
Yeah, that A is
Yeah,
that B is
Visual
really
Basic
getting off
isn't
light.
the best.
They didn't deserve that A. I'll tell you that much.
Well, you know.
On the right, there's a placeholder, and I was wondering if I should do anything with that or just remove it.
Put
I'd
the
put
date.
the date over there in the placeholder.
Okay,
Yeah, and I would
let me
say
note
that.
that down.
So we want to get to Tenant. You are, of course, a friend to the stream. You know, you're in the server a lot. I definitely want to follow up, maybe off stream and try to dig at this a bit more when I'm not
Sounds awesome.
running out of steam, because there's definitely a lot to do here. And if you're looking for a job in tech, I think that you're probably gonna have to apply to a lot of places. But if you write some pretty good cover letters, and I know you can write, I've seen what you've said on GitHub issues. You are very expressive when you
Yeah.
want to be. Oh yeah, I remember. we were talking about stuff, and you said like, oh yeah, search up this, this, and this. I saw you can write.
Was it about
You're-
alacrity?
Yeah.
Oh,
What'd you write about alacrity?
Oh yeah.
Talking shit about alacrity.
Yeah, I don't have very many good things to say about Chris Dewar. Then again, not many people do who have interacted with him.
Yeah. I think
Oh, interacting with the alacrity people. Don't do that. That's bad. Just use alacrity and go on with your life.
There was something I wanted that it did not provide,
I
and was actually, turns out, an issue that's been being argued for years.
Hilarious.
yeah, it reminds me a lot of Elm. I haven't dealt with like the Elm maintainers, but I've always been like, oh, Elm is interesting. Then I look at it, and there's like a bug where it can't parse a negative number in a certain place. And people are like, hey, could you fix this? And the author's like, you're stupid. Why are you using a negative number there? And it's like, what? Like, huh?
That's on you. Handle it. It's your program's
Like-
supposed to handle these
Yeah.
outliers.
Like, what do you mean? So that's a joke. It's like, you know, can your language parse a negative number? because
Yeah.
Elm can't versus fucking integer literal. Anyway,
funny.
sorry, that's a.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna shuffle you off the stage, Notarin. Sorry.
It works fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for
Ain't it?
coming on. Final verdict. I don't know. Hell
Hell
one.
level 9, deepest level
No,
of hell.
just one hell. That's it.
That works.
Purga-
If you don't mind me asking, what's my biggest pain point here? Is
Actually,
it
hell one.
the professional experience?
I mean, if I was
It's-
trying to hire you, biggest pain point is you've never worked as a software engineer, and there's no getting over that.
Yep.
But you almost have, right? Because you've done the Visual Basic stuff. I know it's very little, but you've got it in there. You've held this job, and obviously you love programming. So it's hard, but just get that expression out there, right? The DigitalOcean
Yeah.
stuff, the Visual Basic scripting, that is all great things to mention, and we'll definitely we'll dig into that. I
Yeah.
have to use the bathroom, and
I
I'm
feel like
brewing
my
myself
big-
some tea real quick. So Nate,
Yeah.
I'll let you wrap it up.
Brew yourself some tea real quick.
Yeah, I need a little pick me up.
All right, fair enough. We're gonna get started with tenants early anyway. Thanks for coming on. Any final words before I
Thank you.
unceremoniously dump you back into the Hangout chat?
I just hope I can get my foot in the door. I think from there I'll be set.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So let's check out what's going on in the chat. Looks like tenant is fine. Otherwise, I suppose we'll just get this thing going. Let me figure out where all my windows are. So we got tenant's resume going on, and it's on the screen. Ta-da! And let's pull tenant into the chat. Somebody's saying something in the chat here, but whatever, that's fine. Tenant, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. You are extraordinarily quiet.
Oh, let me try to fix that.
That would be fantastic.
Is it better now?
A little bit better. If you could just sit 1 inch away from your microphone and talk directly into it, that would be very helpful.
Is this good?
That is much closer. Was there anything else you could do?
I don't think so.
All right, fair enough. How you doing, tenant?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
And Moose is in the bathroom right now, so whatever. What's with the green?
Oh, that's the part I really need help with, which is just talking about how I built it. So
Okay.
I would explain to you guys, and you guys would help me talk about how I built it, and then relay that to other people.
Certainly. Well, we are running short on time. We are already over by 30 minutes, and I'm my energy is draining fast. I'm used to streaming for 2 hours, not a minute more. So we may speed through most of it and just get to help him write this. Once Moose gets back. Gotta be honest, I'm conflicted on the emojis.
Oh no, that's just for anonymization. That's
Oh,
not
I
actually on my
see.
resume.
I think that would be funny if you had emojis on your resume. Now that I'm thinking of it, now that I know you're not doing it, I think you should. And if you were doing it, then I would say you shouldn't.
Oh.
Incoming backend software engineer co-op, Space and R&D Corporation. Interesting. Expected graduation May 2025. So that makes you what? Junior. Okay.
Yeah.
American University, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. I'm curious. So you got honors and stuff. That's fun. Class of $year. Experience. Incoming software engineer intern. What does it mean, incoming software engineer intern? What do you mean by incoming?
Oh, that means I'm going to be doing an internship soon. Like
Oh,
for
I
the summer.
see. So this will happen at some point.
Yeah.
So you have 2 internships already lined up?
Yeah, one for summer and one for spring. I'm trying to get one for fall.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You see this, Moosieus? He's stacking up internships. He hasn't even been to these jobs yet.
Oh, the
You're on top of shit,
space
man.
one I've started.
Oh,
I
you
started
started.
that in C# and doing embedded systems as well in C++.
Okay, we'll just move on to this defense. Let's see, defense, R&D, rocket. Are you trying to become one of these military industrial complex guys?
Yeah, we've talked about that before, but I decided to move a little bit away from it.
Ah, makes sense.
I remember, yeah. You had like this was off stream, but you had like a whole bunch of really good internship opportunities. And you've been on here before, and yeah, so you've been through some revisions, so this is already looking really good. But you had a specific request in resume review, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what was that?
Messaging app is the main thing I need help on, because I have no clue how to explain this.
All right, so I see that there's a website that's allegedly linked, but this is an image, so I can't click a Rooney.
Oh, even if I were to give you a PDF, the websites aren't on there because they aren't deployed anymore. Because I owe AWS way too much money.
What's
like 500 for each project.
Ooh, so it's a Spring Boot app.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no Spring Boot hosting that isn't expensive.
Yeah, I figured that out the hard way.
Hardest problem. That's the problem. A lot of free hosting for like bullshit apps that are written in, I want to say good languages, but maybe you really like Java.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Maybe if you went with like WH host or like reliable site, but that's renting out just like straight hardware.
I usually do DigitalOcean for that, but yeah, it's not saving any problems.
Right. Okay. So
what's your project?
Messaging app?
Okay, so you know how iMessage works, right? Where you can message someone one-on-one, and then you could have something like group chat. That's basically what this project does. And whenever it comes to storing your messages, that is actually being encrypted within our database, and then it's decrypting whenever it's sending it back to the user.
Where are those keys stored?
What'd you say?
Where are the keys stored for encryption?
They're stored within the Spring Boot app itself, but I'm planning on trying to move that somewhere else.
Interesting. Okay. So it's encrypted at rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have this project up on GitHub that we can see?
It's not fully committed because I've been busy with work and other stuff, but
that's fine.
So using WebSockets, Spring Data JPA. What's Spring Data JPA?
It's an ORM for
ORM.
Yeah, it's an ORM for SQL databases. Instead of sitting there writing all that SQL, I'd rather use an ORM because I'm lazy.
Sense. Fair enough. And what are you using Stomp and Sock just for?
Stomp being simple text-oriented messaging protocol, which is just for sending messages through plain text to and from your server.
Okay. Talk about Redux, Thunk, and Redux.
So, I guess my question here is, when you made this messaging app, was this something that you just wanted to make for yourself, have a custom UI? Was there some technical hurdle you were trying to solve, or?
The technical hurdle I was trying to solve was the fact that, at least within my friend group, they're elitist towards iPhones, and there's this guy in our friend group who has an Android. So it was like, and to solve this problem, because they don't want to include in group chats and stuff, why not just make a messaging app to solve this, essentially?
Does it solve it in any real way?
Yeah, we actually started using it a little bit until the AWS server ballooned, and then I turned it off.
That'll do it.
So this effectively let him use iMessage?
It was supposed to be like iMessage.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is something that everyone was using.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so it's a work-alike to iMessage, with a lot of the same features and niceties, creature comforts, right?
Yep.
Okay. Think about this. And I do apologize because I'm a bit low on steam, although I'm trying to recharge.
Yeah, sorry about that. Being last
No,
second.
no problem.
Yeah.
So, do we want to lead with that? We'll say a messaging app, and you implemented a. I should write this down as I'm speaking it. Or you developed a secure messaging app. As a cross-platform, a secure cross-platform messaging app. No. Developed a secure messaging app similar to iMessage with creature comforts. With features similar to iMessage, with cross-platform support. Developed a secure messaging app with features similar to iMessage, featuring cross-platform support. And then that is kind of the foundation from which you can start to talk about the features and whatnot that you added, right? That's sort of like the anchor bullet point that kind of helps add narrative to all of the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. Implemented your backend in Spring Boot, WebSockets, Spring JPA. So I don't know if you really have this elsewhere on your resume, but this is really like an event-driven system. That's, I would say, a huge part of messaging, right? It
Yeah.
has to be event-driven.
Yeah.
So let's see, implemented a real-time messaging system using Spring Boot, WebSockets, and Spring Data JPA. You mentioned what Spring Data JPA is, but can you refresh me real quick?
It's an ORM for storing, building out schemas of your database. So
Gotcha.
serialization and deserialization, but instead of you doing the serializing, the ORM is.
Gotcha. Okay. And then I'm going to say, so instead of doing Spring Boot WebSockets and Spring Data JPA, I'm going to say Spring Boot WebSockets and Stomp. Or what'd you call Stomp again? It's a
simple text-oriented messaging protocol, which is sort of like your message broker for WebSockets.
Huh.
Okay. Let's see. Let me start. I've got some bullet points here going. I'll have to find a way to share my screen or something in the future, so that I can
Why don't
kind
you
of
just do it on Discord and I'll put that window over.
Oh, I
There
also
we go.
I don't know if you guys can see it in the stream Discord chat thing. I also sent it there as well, like the Google Doc link.
I'm not seeing it.
Which chat?
It's in stream, like how voice chats have their own text chat.
I'm not seeing it unless it's like way up there.
Oh, I'll just post it in resume review then.
Mm.
There
That'll
we
work.
go.
There it is. Nice. Love your username. Also, I have the horrible username too. Shit, let me switch. Okay.
Also, you're gonna want to lock down the permissions on it now that we're already in here, because this is being broadcast. The URL for it. Oops.
Whoopsie.
Oops.
Oops, I did it again.
Oh wait, this is the testing one. Oh, then it's fine then. I don't think there's
shit.
anything here that links back to me. Yeah, no, there's nothing here.
There we go.
Anonymous
Let's see.
Jackal. Vsauce eats kids.
Okay. So, let's see. Using Spring Boot, WebSockets, and simple text-oriented messaging protocol, Stomp, working bullet point, Sock.js. Tell me all about Sock.js.
Sock.js is a way for, well, at least with JavaScript, the way that you would communicate to your server using WebSockets. So you know how we have that stomp thing there? It's sort of that way to send, hey, I want to send this data or this text to your WebSocket to be displayed, essentially.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that explains it well.
Let's see. Implement a real-time system using... actually, no. We'll say that. WebSockets and simple text-oriented messaging protocol, Stomp. And then what was the front end done with?
Using React.
Oh, all right. Sorry. Redux, Thunk, and Redux. You designed and implemented the chat front end, user front end, UI with React, Redux, and Sock.js. That's not really Sock.js, React, Redux, and Sock.js. And then the UI is, I assume it looks a lot like iMessage.
Yeah.
So like, what are some features that iMessage has that people really like that you have emulated?
I know about their message encrypting, which is that no one else should be really able to see whatever messages that they're sending, which is sort of something I'm doing on my servers.
Gotcha.
I don't have, sadly, the iMessage games. I think that's going to take way too long. What else is there? There is the group chat feature, but unlike iMessage, you're actually able to customize whatever your text bubbles look like and however the site looks like. So by default, the site is in blue and orange because those are my two favorite colors. But you can change those colors to be like white and green, or like white and blue, or
Gotcha.
any color you really want to.
In Sock.js, let's say, gotcha. So features include, I don't know if that's really a great way to phrase it. I am running out of steam. I'm doing my best here. Let's get it down. So the features include custom user theming, custom user themes, custom themes, and then you mentioned customizing chat bubble colors. Custom themes, and I'm gonna say, damn it, still not chat identity features, which isn't really that meaningful, but it's what I got. So features include custom themes and chat identity features, such as custom chat bubble colors, that show across devices. That's really bad, but I just want to get the details out. Message transfer is encrypted and secure, so you can talk about some of the encryption features, maybe even a bit more once you've got it further developed. And then talk about deployments. So the deployment story is unfortunately interesting that you deployed it to AWS and it cost you $500 in a month.
Yeah.
So I take it though you did some CI/CD stuff, right?
Yes, through GitHub Actions as well.
So you implemented a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions and AWS. So all in all, Nate, any thoughts? Any additions?
I gotta be real with you. My energy is depleted. I've been scrolling Twitter. I will not lie to you. I will not bear false witness here. You are running this thing at this moment.
Okay. TV Josh says you can mention HIPAA, PHI, and PII if you deal with healthcare info. I think, yeah, that's under name Medicare system. I forget. That medical system, was that a class project or was that something that you did on your own?
Something that I did on my own that's now grown to being used in an actual hospital near me. That's a startup hospital. So
That's pretty neat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to mention that as well.
That says utilized in production at a local hospital and name the hospital.
Now being used in production at a local hospital. This is really good social proof. Beautiful. And and also if this deals with
Nope, screwed that up.
Oh, I was just going to keep it as that format because it's like a very informal sort of bullet point. But here, I can do format paint. There you go. And I'm going to italicize it as well. Also mention. Why are you doing me dirty? How you dealt with protected health information, PII, and etc. If applicable. And there is a whole bunch of rockets. All right. So for the messaging app, any thoughts, Tenant?
this is pretty good.
It's a start. I hope this is like mostly accurate and kind of gives you a good starting point. We're at the point where we can't really get people to a good place. We can kind of just get halfway.
Yeah, halfway is good.
All right. Nate, you want to put a rating on this here resume?
I mean, we didn't really get through the whole resume. It was mostly about this thing. So I will withhold the rating.
I'm gonna say like Kevin too, because you're really on top of shit. Like you've been here before. You have taken our advice. All the stuff reads really good. You have more internships now, and even before you've done them, you've already updated your resume. So
That's
you're
fantastic.
really
Yeah.
really on top of shit.
This is good for Heaven too. All right, good stuff. Any final words before I unceremoniously dump you into the Hangout chat and then follow you into the Hangout chat because I am done with streaming for the day.
Ooh, wait. Prime is streaming right now. Can you rate him?
Ooh, I can rate
Is that
Prime.
a thing you can do?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm allowed to rate a channel as big as his. I think they don't want to go crazy. No, I can absolutely rate him. So I'll rate Prime.
Do it.
All right, good stuff. Well, it's been real, everyone. Oh, I gotta switch to my my stream ending, and then I gotta play the noise. Thanks everyone for showing up here, and I will be rating Prime. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks so much.
Good eye.
Thank you. All right, so I don't know how. Okay, so rating in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Everybody strap in! Ah!
It still hasn't taken me to the. Oh,